Hard sports all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tight the laces. Hard sports all plays. Network. Hard sports all plays. Network. We on top of our game. Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome back to the ASAP Network for ASAP Real Talk. Getting off to a little bit of a later start than normal today, but we are still here to bring you the realest talk on the internet when it comes to sports. My name's Will. Alongside with me are the normal boys, Coach Cam, Freddie Henderson, and Chris Brown. Fellas, how we doing tonight?
What's going on, gentlemen? Just ready to get this show rolling.
Yeah, I'm a little I'm a mixed emotions right now with my two favorite franchises. I'm going to talk about both of them today. I'm a little upset. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little upset.
Coach Cam, I'm sure the same.
I'm feeling devastated, man. I'm gonna try to bring the energy though, but I'm deflated, man. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very deflated on this Monday.
Well, I tell you what, something that would make you feel better if you were rocking some sick new bling. I tell you that. Why don't you tell us about our first sponsorship right there, Coach Cam?
Yes, absolutely. Suzanne Paparazzi Jewelry, home of the $5 jewelry and accessories, 24/7 shopping available. Visit www.paparazziaccessories.com. Code 160920. Christmas, almost a month away. Make sure you check out Suzanne Paparazzi Jewelry and Accessories.
All right, Chris. I know you could get that bling go straight with a new T-shirt as well. Tell the fellas at home how they could get a new T-shirt.
Yes. So for everybody out there right now, everybody watching, make sure you like the video, share the video, engage with us in the comments. We talk to everybody in the comments. The person that does that most at the end of the month will be crowned the viewer of the month, and the viewer of the month will get their very own free ASAP Network T-shirt.
And if they don't want to be in the comment section as much, we know we appreciate them just the same, but how else can they get a T-shirt otherwise?
Yeah, so if you don't want to comment, still like the video, share the video, like the page, share the page. But if you want a very beautiful T-shirt, message us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Letting us know you want the T-shirt. We'll exchange information. Search at $25 plus shipping and handling. You're going to get a very beautiful T-shirt ASAP.
All right, Freddie, and we can be found on Facebook. We can be found on YouTube. Where else can we be found nowadays?
Yes, check us out. Check out the ASAP Sports Network on Anchor, where it helps you if you're trying to get in the podcast business yourself. Hey, Anchor is the best way to put your work out there, and also if you can catch all the episodes on Anchor.
I know we got one more sponsorship, Freddie. Why don't you go ahead and bring us home?
All right, this is the Oregon Made Misty Meadows Jam and More. Check them out at their address is 48053 Highway 101 South, Brandon, Oregon. Their number is 541-347-2575. Check them out, people.
All right, we've gone through everybody involved in this episode. Let's get just straight down to it. Let's get right to business. Can you win a T-shirt? Well, I don't know if you personally. I know he's with the team, so maybe not. But hey, anybody else, if you comment just like Adam just did, then yeah, you're definitely in the running for that free T-shirt. So
indeed,
let's get right down to it. Let's start with it. Freddie, I know I made a PowerPoint today. You got the assist on this one. We're gonna jump right to it. We're going to an NFL hot take. Let's go right to it. Let's start with let's start today with Freddie. Freddie, I need a hot take on the NFL season.
It seems like, I keep talking about the same thing week in and week out. But, I mean, it comes a time where we have to hold them accountable. Have we not seen Carson Wentz yet again? Yes, I know the team is dealing with injury. Yes, I know they have a coaching problem. Yes, I know they have an offensive line problem. But guess what? When you pay a quarterback $100+ million, you expect him to overcome some of those. This dude is 14 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 9 fumbles. This dude is looking awful. Awful. A rookie don't look this bad. A rookie don't look this bad. Joe Burrow, we praying for him. Wish him nothing best of luck to come back from that injury. He had the worst offensive line, but guess what? His numbers is not as horrible as Carson Wentz. I mean, that's just pathetic. You can see this dude in the pocket hesitating to throw the ball, but then he comes back and he throws an interception, pick six. I mean, Philadelphia fans, stop making excuses for this dude. You're in Philadelphia. Expect better. And I will not be surprised if this dude will get benched this year and get traded out of Philadelphia if that rookie come back out there and outplay him. You expect better and you deserve better, Philadelphia.
All right, Chris. I mean, obviously, if he mentions your team, I have to go to you next. So let's get your hot take.
I mean, I was going to talk about, I'm not going to, give my hot take right now. No, I'm not going to talk about my Eagles right now. That's going to be something I'm going to talk about later on. Freddie, I'll address that later on. You got one now. I'm not trying to embarrass you. I don't want to do that to you just right now. But my hot take is that the Packers will be a first-round exit. I mean, this team, you talking about the Green Bay Packers, they don't make any adjustments. They're weak in the trenches. They started out very, very good against Indianapolis. I picked them to lose anyway because I'm high on the Colts. I picked them to lose. They started off good in the first half. Scored 28 of their 31 points in the first half. Let me repeat that, ladies and gentlemen. They scored 28 of their 31 points in the first half. That means they scored 3 points in the third quarter, fourth quarter, and overtime. What does that tell you? One, their offense couldn't get going. Aaron Rodgers this, Aaron Rodgers that. He's supposed to do. He didn't show up in that second half. The defense this, the defense that. They let up over 20 points in that second half to the Indianapolis Colts. They didn't make any adjustments at all. They're weak in the trenches. You cannot win an NFL game if you're weak in the trenches. Everybody knows that no football. If you win an NFL game, if you want to win, you win it having a good offensive line and a good defensive line. If you don't have good offensive line and a good defensive line, you won't do anything in the NFL, point blank, period. And right now, the Packers are looking soft. They look sweet. They look good. But when it's time to fight, I don't see them fighting. And right now, I see them being a first-round exit. And if they're a first-round exit, I'm just curious what's going to be the future for Aaron Rodgers. Do they move on for him? Is it time for Jordan Love to start? Do they trade him away? We don't know. Look at this comment right here. Exactly what I said. Aaron Rodgers went MIA. You talk about hold quarterbacks accountable. Why can't we hold Aaron Rodgers accountable? He's supposed to be such a bad man. Where is he at that whole entire second half scoring 3 points? It's a question that needs to be answered. And right now, they're really looking like a first-round exit. They can beat bad teams. When they play good teams, they're suspect.
Tell you what, it's called hot take for a reason. That was definitely a big one. Some people look at the Packers as the favorite in the NFC, and Chris is saying they're going to be gone in the first round. Coach Cam, what about a hot take from you?
You say it's a hot take, and I come hot take. I may be wrong or far-fetched with them, but that's what the hot takes are for. My hot take, the Ravens won't make the playoffs. I'm not really liking the way the Ravens are playing at this point in time. I really think that, it's not that so much Lamar Jackson, it's the rest of the team. Like, that defense ain't played well. Letting Derrick Henry just get that touchdown in overtime, letting them come back. You're at home. Normally when the Ravens get up or a couple scores, or 2 scores, 10 points, they usually put the foot on the neck. But you don't see that killer instinct in the Ravens this year. Now, this week, you got Dobbins and Ingram out with COVID. So now you're going to play the Steelers without your 2 best running backs. That could be another L. And, I'm just looking at the Raiders. They're playing really well right now. You still got the Dolphins playing well, even though, we'll get into that later. Mm-hmm. But you got the Dolphins playing well. You can't keep losing games if you're the Baltimore Ravens.
And
you got people in the AFC and the Browns playing well. So you got teams that's coming up really playing well, looking to claim playoff spots, and they got to get with it or they'll find themselves on the outside looking in.
Coach Cam, so you don't think they're going to make the playoffs?
No. That's my hot take.
That's a beautiful hot take right there. That's a hot take. That's a hot one.
That's my hot take. I just don't see it. They're not playing well. They're not playing well. They're just not playing good football. I know some people that you want to hold on to last year, but it's not the same team.
Oh, I agree with you. I'm gonna touch on them later because I'm fully with you.
If I'm not mistaken, I want to say Nate put us on last night during the post-game show. If they lose this upcoming week to Pittsburgh, they're out of the divisional talk. They have officially been eliminated from the division. It would come down to bad. Bad's a different way to put it. He was a bad man in the first half, but a bad man in the second half.
I want to address that. I mean, yes, you could say Aaron Rodgers played bad yesterday. He still ended the game completing his 71% from throwing the ball. I mean,
Did he win? Did he
Chris,
win?
Chris, do you see why they lost? They had a receiver who fumbled the ball. Let's not act like Aaron Rodgers gave that game away. He's the reason why he was in the game. Did you see that 3rd and 10 in the end zone? That dude showing why he's the best quarterback in the game, throwing bombs, but his wide receiver cannot hold on to the ball. Why are you doing that kind of play? Why are you not throwing it to Devontae Adams? That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Aaron Rodgers. Put some respect on his name because he's still bad.
If he was a bad man, he wouldn't have scored 3 points in 3 quarters. Also, you said a receiver fumbled, but when I say a receiver drops a pass from my quarterback, it don't mean nothing. Hold him accountable. So keep that same energy. Finish what you guys saying.
No, it's the difference, Chris. Your quarterback.
It ain't no different.
Do I need to stand up and show you what your quarterback do?
I don't care what my quarterback do.
Well, you just mentioned
my quarterback having a bad year. I seen Hall of Famers have bad years. Ain't nothing. Come on now. Go ahead, Will.
It's not just this year, Chris.
Whoa!
End of last year too.
Over 4,000 yards, over 20 plus touchdowns to practice squad wide receivers. Please, you're the only person in the world that thought he played bad last year. Every analyst, you just said it was multiple years. What other year was it?
I did not. I said towards the end of last year.
He won games and he got us to the plate.
I barely beat the sorry NFC East.
Go ahead, Will.
All right. Yeah, we get it. You don't like Carson Wentz. We've heard it enough. Yeah, you've been muted. All right.
I do like Carson Wentz. I really do.
Okay, we get it. Freddie. Nobody want to hear it no more. I'm done. You ain't giving a real talk. You being a hater. Come on, Will.
No, I'm not.
All right, we're sitting here talking about hot takes. We're not talking about anything like that. All right, we're over with that. So let's see what this comment from Kendall said real quick. What was that? They have the Jags, Giants, Jets to end their season, and the Steelers, and a Steelers team in which they will most likely be sitting their starters. Are we talking?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so
because they still want that first seed.
Yeah,
Chiefs ain't losing.
Yeah, so they need to stay undefeated.
That's the big thing with Pittsburgh is that if they want that number 1 seed, you can't discredit Kansas City. They're still a 1-loss team. But getting to my hot take, I know Chris had mentioned. The Green Bay Packers. I'm going to stick in that division. I say that division is going to have 3 new coaches next season. I think Matt Patricia, Matt Nagy, and Mike Zimmer are all out the door after this season. I think whenever you see that early on with the early season struggles of the Minnesota Vikings, I think that is proven that Mike Zimmer is not the coach for this team. I think Matt Nagy has been carried by an amazing defense, and it is shown in his offensive play calling that even though no matter what, he can't get it done. And Matt Patricia's Matt Patricia. I mean, the guy has a 32% win record. I mean, it's been absolutely terrible. Whenever they fired Jim Caldwell, who, yes, had a couple of bad seasons, but overall had a winning record with the team, it just doesn't look good. I know Matt Patricia has been on the hot seat for a couple of years now. I think Matt Nagy's seat is on some pretty big heat, and I think Mike Zimmer could also see a little bit of question marks, especially seeing from the fact that the only games they can win is when Dalvin Cook throws the whole team on their back. So ultimately, I think the NFC North is going to end up with 3 new coaches next year. So that's my hot take on that for the NFL. Browns for the playoff is a take. The Browns for the playoffs is, I mean, if the Ravens don't fall out, I don't know if it's much of a hot take, but because someone's got to go.
The Browns in right now. I mean, they've been in for a couple weeks.
The way the Browns are playing, I mean, yeah, it's definitely reasonable, especially compared to the Baltimore Ravens. But let's move on. Let's go on to with somber hearts, and our hearts are full. We lost Joe Burrow this week. I'm going to start with Coach Cam, obviously. What does this mean for the Bengals? What exactly does this mean for the team now, for the future? Coach Cam, obviously you need the floor to yourself. Let's hear it.
It hurts, man. It hurts as a Bengals fan just because you know, this is we seen one of our, you know, old franchise quarterbacks go down the same way, Carson Palmer, in the '05 playoff game. Just straight up, towards, complete knee. And what it does for the Bengals is it sets us back. You know, it sets us back far as the rebuilding process, far as, us learning how to win games, under Joe Burrow. Um, but the thing is about it, um, I put this on Zach Taylor. And I'm not going to take up a whole bunch of time because we got a lot of topics to hit. But I mean, you put this man in danger week in and week out. You don't run the football. You don't try to run the football. Think about this. When he got hurt, it was about 11 minutes left in the third quarter. He had 33 pass attempts at that time, on a pace for 60 plus, and while we're averaging 4.5 yards a carry. Make it make sense. We're on our own goal line. We're backed up against the wall. 2nd and 2, we don't run the ball. 3rd and 2, we don't run the ball. You're asking for your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, to get hurt. You're asking for it. And us Bengals fans, we was just saying, please get through the year, Joe Burrow. Just please get through the year. But this was ridiculous. Zach Taylor really looked us in the eyes and said, this offensive line is going to be okay. Looked us in the eyes and said, this offensive line can protect Joe Burrow, and it's by far the worst in the league. It's the worst in the league. He's taking the most hits in the league. It was like buying, like my man Blake Jules said. He's a good guy, writer for Sports Illustrated. He Bengals, and he's been on my show. He said it was like buying a new iPhone without buying a case, and that's what happened. It's bound to break, and we didn't buy the case for the iPhone. I'm disgusted, and people say don't blame Zach Taylor. I'm blaming him because he believed in this offensive line. He's the one that trotted out the worst left guard in the league to get pushed right, bull rushed right over, right into Burrow's knee. So yes, I blame Zach Taylor. I want him gone. And honestly, yesterday took a lot out of my soul. I don't know if I could be week in and week out emotionally invested in the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm not saying I won't be a fan, because I will be, but I refuse to let them ruin my weeks. Because when they lose, they ruin my week up to about Wednesday till I feel better. And I'm not going to let them do this to me anymore. It's sickening the way they did Joe Burrow. He did not deserve this. Get this man a damn line.
Man, I tell you what, that was a hell of an analogy. The iPhone without a case. I mean, that is almost perfect, because Joe Burrow's been a hell of a quarterback stepping in. I mean, it's something that the Bengals were in desperate need of. And man, the O-line that they have put behind him has not been helping him at all. I mean, you said
it's by far the worst in the league. Michael Jordan, the left guard, got graded a 25 yesterday in pass, a 25.
That's pitiful.
That's awful,
to say the least. I mean, man, I tell you what, Freddie, let's add a little bit to it. What do you think this means for the Bengals?
Man, prayers up for Joe Burrow. I mean, an up-and-coming star quarterback in the league. Coach Cam said it, if I was the owner of that franchise, the coach got to go. The general manager got to go.
We don't have a GM, Freddie. We don't have one. I'm sorry. I just, I'm frustrated. We don't have a GM. We got one player, one guy behind the scenes pulling the strings. His name is Duke Tobin. He's doing a terrible job as well.
Yeah, just for putting this kid out there in danger every week. Definitely, I mean, this dude can recover and come back strong, and hopefully this franchise will give him a line behind him to protect him. Because I mean, we know the talent is there, and if you get him some kind of protection, even without protection, we've seen this dude still go out there and make big plays. But yeah, just prayers up to this dude, and hopefully he can come back and pick up where he left off.
Chris, bring us home on your opinions on what this means for the Bengals.
I mean, I really don't have to say a lot. Coach Cam really said everything. You just don't put out and I understand how you feel completely, 100%. People say don't blame the head coach. Why not? the head coach is the one putting players out there. The head coach is the one calling the plays. You don't put a not even just a rookie. You don't put a quarterback in harm's way like that. Keep making them pass when you know your quarterback is getting sacked 30 plus times. Trust me, I understand how you feel. And for that to happen it's all on the coach. It's all on the coach. So for Joe Burrow, I hope they don't play him for another 1 to 2 years. Why? Because I want him to only come back when that offense. One, he's fully healthy. I hope people are in this here talking about please do not rush back. If you have to sit 2 years, sit 2 years. They'll be waiting for you. You're the guy for the future for the Cincinnati Bengals. Don't rush back. This team does not have an offensive line. Because what they showed you is that they're not caring about you. Because if they cared about you, they'd have put an offensive line together. If they cared about you, things would have been a lot different for this franchise. So, prayers up to him. I know he will come back. He is the franchise guy. He got the mocks. He got everything you want in a starting QB. He has the weapons. He like the offensive line outside of the offense outside of the offensive line is very, very good. But when you factor in the offensive line, see, I'm going on a mini rant. People don't understand football. A lot of people that talk sports really don't understand the game of football. They don't understand that without an offensive line, your team cannot be successful. People fail to realize that. They think it's basketball where you have a guy like LeBron that can get the rebound, go coast to coast, do whatever he wants. They think one player can dominate. There's 11 players on the field when you're on offense. When you're a quarterback, the center has to give you the ball. He has to give that to you. It has to be a great exchange. Then the 5 offensive linemen have to block perfect so you have enough time to throw the ball. Then the wide receivers have to catch the ball. As a quarterback, you're relying on so many, and then the coach has to call a good play. As a quarterback, you're relying on so many different factors for you to be successful, but they get all the blame. So, yes, the blame is on the head coach. I hope Joe Burrow gets back. When he gets back, I hope they have a new head coach. I hope the organization fix their ways. I hope they have a good enough offensive line so this dude isn't getting sacked 8 times a game. He's going to get a touch 15 times a game. Put an offensive line around this guy before they ruin his career.
Coach, I think Coach Cam said it best before we got on there. He said he almost knew it was a matter of time. Whenever you're sitting there watching him and he's taking 60-plus attempts and you have the worst offensive line in the league, I mean, it really is a matter of time. Unfortunately, it is. And they've put so much faith into Joe Burrow whenever they have a couple decent running backs who could run the ball. I mean, Coach Cam said it best. They were averaging over 4.5 a carry before doing that, and yet they're going to abandon the run game just because Joe Burrow's been playing well. A lot of people had question marks about Joe Burrow going into the NFL just because he only really started one season. That man dominated in college, and that man came out, and with what he has, especially for an O-line, he's been dominating in the NFL as well. I agree with Chris. He needs to sit until he can get some protection around him, because otherwise that guy's going to be a sitting duck. And one thing that is going to be terrible for him is consistent nagging knee injuries, and that's the last thing you need for Joe Burrow.
And Will, just to say what you said, I had thank you, football is a team sport. I had questions going into Joe Burrow, questions, and that he answered immediately. So every questions people had about Joe Burrow, he's answered all those questions. So he's a franchise quarterback. That's not a question out for anybody anymore. He's the guy. He just needs the offensive line and a good defense, and he's going. Coach Cam, I don't got to boost up his team any more than he already know how it works.
100%. Well, unfortunately for Joe Burrow, prayers go up to him. But let's move on to another quarterback that actually had his first career start. One of very few quarterbacks that have had their first career start after the age of 30. Taysom Hill. We've seen a lot of him. The BYU product. We've seen a lot of him at tight end, running back, quarterback. I mean, we've seen him everywhere. Probably played a little bit of O-line, D-line, safety, everywhere for the New Orleans Saints. But he finally got the start under center. The Saints were able to walk away with a 20-9 victory. I'm not too sure of his stat line right off the top of my head. I know he had 51 rushing yards and two rushing touchdowns. No picks, no touchdowns. But for a decent part, whenever it come down to completion, he was passing pretty effectively. I saw a list of quarterbacks that he had a better QBR than, such as Phillip Rivers, Pat Mahomes. I mean, there were some names on there. I mean, he for who he is, he played okay, at least I think. Chris, I'll start with you. What were your thoughts on Taysom Hill's first start?
I mean, I'm going to admit I was surprised that he got to start over Jameis Winston, because we obviously know Jameis Winston is really a quarterback. Hill's been used as a gadget guy, quarterback, running back, tight end, wide receiver. But, he didn't play that bad. He played like a guy, he kind of reminded me of how, New England's trying to use Cam Newton. You know he's not going to throw 500 yards. You know he's not going to be the pocket passer like Drew Brees. But what they're going to do is they're going to cater the offense around him. You know, he led the team, in rush yards. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. Who does that remind you of that's doing that right now? Cam Newton. He had a lot of weapons. I mean, Mike Thomas had 104 yards, and me being the dumb guy I am, forgot to put him in the fantasy team, and that's why I lost. But that's a different story for a whole different day. But the point being is, though, he played really, really good. I mean, 18 for 23. He didn't have no touchdowns, but he had no interceptions. He didn't have any turnovers. He played decent. I'm not saying this guy should be the starter when Drew Brees retires, but I think what this is, they're giving him an opportunity to show what he has. You know, now if Drew Brees doesn't come back in the playoffs, will they keep it out with him? I think they will, unless he has a bad game. I think one bad game, and then they're going to put Jameis in. But if he keeps rolling, look for Hill to be that starting quarterback for this team for the future.
Coach Cam, what did you think about Taysom Hill's first start?
He did all right. 18 to 23, 233 yards. They protected him well. Something that a good coach does. Something what a competent coach does.
Yeah.
Unlike what we got, where
I got too.
they ran the ball, and if you want to include Taysom Hill runs, ran the ball 30 plus times. That's how you protect the quarterback. That's maybe has some limitations, maybe on his line or limitation in skill set. So it's good coaching on Sean Payton's part. I still think Jameis should have been the starter for this football team, no doubt about it. And I think some of the Saints players still know that as well. Little things like Kamara don't get a catch. Kamara has had a catch in 54 straight games. He doesn't get a catch yesterday. It's little things like that, and you got to get him involved in the pass game. That's an extra weapon. And meanwhile, a lot of people say it's the Falcons. No offense to them, but it's the Atlanta Falcons. We know that's not a good football team. They have a lame duck as a head coach. So I want to see more out of Taysom Hill, but it's a good start for him. I'm not going to knock him. He played well, played within the game plan, but I want to see him get a little tested a little bit more. In some of these games there. So we'll see. We'll see coming up, but it was a good first start. But I still feel like Jameis should be the starter moving forward for this football team.
You had mentioned that it was the Atlanta Falcons. In fact, his next 2 games are against the Denver Broncos and then the Atlanta Falcons again. So
wow, unbelievable.
We'll see what he can do. But then he runs into the Eagles, the Bucks. He also runs into the Vikings. Some teams that are being pushing for some playoff spots. So, Freddie, we'll go to you. What did you think of Taysom Hill?
First off, I want to give a shout out to my girl Emily. What's up with Emily? But like Coach Camp said, it's the Falcons. I mean, I want Coach Camp said, I want to see more. I mean, Sean Payton played it safe. They didn't have him go out there and do too much. I mean, he looked good, but we need to see more. I definitely think they made a mistake. I think Jameis Winston is the next quarterback for this franchise. I think they should have started him. Just to not give this dude an opportunity. You go to a dude that's 30 years old, that have not thrown over, I believe, 100 yards in the NFL, and you go to this dude over Jameis Winston, who's been a starter in this league for at least 5 years. To me, that's just disrespectful, man. But yes, it's disrespectful, Chris Brown.
I don't understand why. Listen, no. Wait, I'm not trying to cut you off. So what I'm going to say is a quick sentence. So go ahead and talk before you start saying nonsense. Go ahead and talk.
No, you go ahead.
Go ahead and talk.
You go ahead. You cut me off.
All I did was make a face and you responded. You cut yourself off. All I was saying was Taysom Hill, right or wrong, has been on this team longer, right? Just answer the question.
Yes.
Now, yes, we think Jameis Winston should be their future starter, but do you think it's not disrespectful to Hill for him to at least get one shot to see if he can play the quarterback position? Okay, that's all I had to ask. I'm not trying to be buttle, so I had to ask.
Yeah, it should be a respect thing. He should say, "Wow, this dude has been."
But now I'm going to cut you off because he can say on the flip side, "Dude, you threw 30 interceptions last year. Let me get my one try." That's all. He deserves one shot at the quarterback position. But he deserves one shot.
I can see the game that Drew Brees got hurt. Then you brought him in there, but you start him. You plan him for the week to get this dude to be the starting quarterback for your team.
No, we all agree Jameis should be the starter, but I'm just saying Taysom Hill deserves the opportunity. He deserves it.
But I don't think so. Not over Jameis Winston. I don't.
Okay. I I think Taysom really did all he could with his opportunity. I mean, yeah, he didn't have a passing touchdown, but he was pretty efficient. I'm not going to lie. 78% completion percentage, no interceptions. I mean, that it really speaks to what it is. And I think whoever drew the comparison to Cam Newton really made a great point because, yeah, Chris, I mean, it really is kind of it's the same thing. I mean, he's got a lot more weapons than Cam, but also, I mean, you know the kind of quarterback you have with Taysom Hill. You know he's not going to be the deep ball guy. You know he's not going to be the big flashy play. You know, you might as well draw your playbook up to who you have. You might as well make it simple. And I think that's what Sean Payton did. And I think it really speaks to how he drew up a game plan with the quarterback at hand. Yes, it's the Falcons, but we'll see exactly who he goes with going forward. I'm assuming Taysom Hill is going to have another chance next week against Denver Broncos, and then I wouldn't be shocked to see him again against Atlanta. But whenever it comes down to the stretch, whenever it comes down to those real important games, whenever they're fighting for a 1 seed, whenever all these teams that they're going up against are fighting for wild card spots or even divisional spots, we'll see exactly what push comes to shove. But let's move on off of the Taysom Hill topic. Let's see what that next topic is loading up there. Look at that. Clay Matthews is shocked as all hell. Speaking of which, what game shocked you guys this week? A really surprising game from week, what is this, 11? Is week 11? Yeah. A shocking game from week 11. We'll go to Coach Cam. What game really surprised you this week?
Oh, man. The game that really shocked me the most, and then I was kind of glancing through them here, is the Denver Broncos and the Miami Dolphins. This is where last week I said, the Dolphins could contend and win the AFC East. You can't lose to teams like the Denver Broncos. I thought that was an opportunity for them to really get rolling. They was on a hot streak, and I thought they would beat the Dolphins. It just goes to show you what my only doubt was Tua really ready? Because like I said, the defense scores touchdowns for them. The special teams score touchdowns for them. And when you have special teams and defense score touchdowns for you, it deflates the other team. And when you don't get those type of momentum plays, what type of team are you? And and that was very concerning what I saw from the Miami Dolphins. Offense was just miserable. Tua's throwing for 83 yards. And in all of his games, I'm really not seeing him push the ball down the field. A lot of premeditated where he needs to go. I was shocked at the Miami Dolphins that they laid that egg on the road. So that game kind of shocked me a little bit because I thought the Dolphins were prime in a nice position to try to make a run for the AFC East title.
I know we're going to talk a little bit about Tua later on, or maybe even tomorrow night.
We'll talk about him tomorrow.
But I want to say a quick point to that game. This was the first game for the Dolphins without Myles Gaskin. And I think that was kind of the heart and soul of that team. And I think that kind of showed a little bit this week. I was kind of shocked myself to kind of see, because I thought Tua was really going to try to take the step up. I thought he was going to try to, show up against this Denver team and really try to step up his own performance. And man, he laid an egg. I mean, you really hit the nail on that one. Once it's tapes out on Hill, it's going to be very different. Even a mobile Daniel Jones looked good for 3 games last year. I mean, it's a decent point. I mean, what, Freddie? Where are you going with that?
Sir, let's be respectful. You say Daniel Jones last year. Daniel Jones was a rookie. I mean, come on. Daniel Jones is the future for the Giants. Okay, he showed us flashes. We've seen him this year. He showed us why he's the franchise quarterback for my New York Giants.
Well, you said that Daniel Jones is a rookie, but this is theoretically Taysom Hill's rookie quarterback season. I mean, if he's going to actually take reps, this was the first actual game where he took a full game of reps. I mean, to go at that point, but we'll move on. We'll move on to Freddie. Freddie, what game on week 11 really gave you? What game shocked you this week?
Will, Coach Cam, and Chris, as you guys know, I stayed down here in Texas, and the Dallas Cowboys found a way to win a game. Found a way. I think it was a month since the last time they won a game. And you know what? All I can see, I go down my Facebook. I go to work this morning, and all I hear is Cowboy fans saying, "How about them Cowboys?" I'm like, what? Y'all just beat the Vikings. The Vikings are horrible. You're talking about by the way, Kirk Cousins might have had his best game on yesterday. I mean, this team is awful. I mean, bro, are you bragging about that? They talking about, it's still a chance, Freddie. I said, a chance for what? for us to win that division, go to the playoffs. I said, why do you even want to go to the playoffs? Really? So a first round exit, a goodbye? Like honestly, Roger Goodell, if you watching this, can you just say, hey, every team in the NFC East, y'all don't deserve to go to the playoffs this year. How about we just take y'all away from it and we give a team that deserve it? I mean, come on. Stop it, Cowboy fans. Y'all need to stop it. Yeah, it's over.
Chris, we'll move to you. What game shocked you in Week 11?
Now, Coach Cam, show them what you got on today. Show them what you got on.
I got a rep, man. Joe B, baby.
I'm always going to rep my team right here. I don't care how they could go 0 for 16 every year. I'm not a bandwagon. Yeah. I don't switch to go to a team because I like a different player. I like a lot of players, but everybody know where Holmes at. Holmes always going to be in Philadelphia. Y'all know that when you hear me talking. Now, the game that shocked me was my Philadelphia Eagles game. And let me tell you why. You making that face, Freddie. I didn't make a face when you talked. It's my turn to talk.
I can't make a face?
No, because nobody want to see your face. Listen, this is why this game shocked me so much. Good job. Everybody wants to talk about, Carson Wentz. Deservedly so. I give Carson Wentz his flack. But I understand that football, you have 11 players on offense. You have a head coach calling the plays. I think teams really forget that. I'm sorry, not teams. People really forget that. They forget that, it's people calling the plays. And I want a new head coach. I want a new defensive coordinator. I mean, my head coach flat out said that Jason Peters is still the left tackle right now when a dude gave up almost 5 sacks by himself. I feel like every sack was against Jason Peters. Myles Garrett didn't play, and they still had over 5 sacks. Olivier Vernon looked like a dog out there against a guy that Jason Peters is going to be in the Hall of Fame, but there's no reason he should be playing tackle right now. He is way past – now he's out of his prime. He's not even past the good years you have left outside of your prime. He's not an NFL player anymore. He is that bad. What shocked me the most is that our coach cannot realize the problem in game and make adjustments. My coach doesn't make an adjustment at all. And that's what's really shocking me. Everybody wants to talk about the Browns this and the Browns this. The Browns ended off with 40 total carries and 137 yards. I did the math. If you take away that one big run that Nick Chubb had, you realize on 39 carries, they only had 60 yards. Think about how dominant of a defense that is. You take away that one big run, which I love Nick Chubb. That stiff arm was crazy. He's that type of player. But you take away that one big run, they weren't doing anything on the run game. Now, yes, I give them they play action. But, I mean, man, we dominated on the defensive end. And the play caller cannot make any adjustments. Now, let's talk about Carson Wentz. Freddie says, I don't hold him accountable. Oh, I hold him accountable. But I realize that, you got to understand one thing about Carson Wentz. He's going to be the starter for this team. For one, nobody's going to trade for him with the contract he has right now. I'm just being honest. For two, deservedly so. Everybody wants to talk about how bad Cincinnati's offensive line is, but my quarterback has been sacked 40 times. You talk about the worst offensive line. My quarterback been sacked the most out of anybody in the league. So I have the right to say my offensive line is playing bad this year. When you've been sacked 40 times in 10 games, that's a problem. When somebody's in your face every time you go to throw the ball, that is a problem. Yes, Carson Wentz played bad. Yes, the interception he threw, he had Jalen Reagor wide open. And I'm upset about how Carson Wentz has been being played, how he's played. But if somebody tells me he should not be on his team after one bad year, when last year he had over 4,000 yards, 27 touchdowns, when the year before that in 11 games he had over 3,000 yards, 21 touchdowns. The year we won a Super Bowl, he led the league in touchdowns, had over 3,300 yards in less than 12 games. Carson Wentz is having one bad year. Please slow your roll. This game to me, after this performance, I want all the coachings fired. Because what I saw is that the players, I understand Carson Wentz has been playing bad, and I've been saying this, but that he's been sacked 40 times. Yes, the Eagles line is awful, but he holds the ball too long. That's 100% right. You're right. Like 40 to sacks, I want to say maybe 8 to 10 of them is because he holds the ball too long. But I seen one of them where it was one sack. I mean, that safety, literally Jason Peters got pushed back as soon as the ball was snapped. So why I think this game is so crazy, because after the game, the coach said Jason Peters is still the guy. He said all these wrong things. It showed me that my coaching staff is terrible, and I want new head coaches. And we're going to have to dismantle this roster because we have a lot of old guys making money. Alshon Jeffrey, I put it on my Instagram. You know, too many people were saying they blaming Carson Wentz. I understand, but listen, when a receiver is the one-on-one, the only reason out there is to win one-on-one jump balls. One-on-one jump balls. When he has a 5'10" receiver behind him, and you throw the ball up, and he mistimed his jump. That's all I have to say about that. Carson Wentz is playing like trash. The worst quarterback in the league this year, and it's not even close. And I'll stand on that. Carson Wentz is playing like a bum. But I said it all year.
That's all I ask, Chris.
I say it every time I say it. But what I say is hold everybody else accountable. You want to hold him accountable? Hold that offensive line with a lot of all pros accountable for playing like trash. Hold the coordinator, hold Doug Peterson, head coach, for calling horrible plays accountable, and hold everybody not being healthy accountable. Yes, Carson Wentz is playing like trash, but look at the circumstances around him. That's all I have to say. That turned into a little mini Eagles rant because I had to say it because Freddie said some things earlier, and that's I had to touch on that. But
hey, Will, I'm very proud of Chris. I'm very proud of Chris. I say it
every show. Carson Wentz is playing like trash, but I say, listen, if you're gonna blame the quarterback, understand it's 11 players on offense, and he's not the only one playing like garbage.
Chris, I will make you a promise. I will no longer come after your Eagles. No,
Freddie, I don't believe anything you said. You said Daniel Jones was the worst quarterback, and now you're praising him. I don't believe nothing you say.
And I was wrong. And see, ladies and gentlemen, Chris won't give me the opportunity. He gave Coach Cam an opportunity. He even gave Will an opportunity to rant about their teams. But he won't give me an opportunity.
Never, because we stand on what we stand. We said the same thing about our teams all year. We stand on it. We don't switch up. You switch up too much, so you're not going to get a chance to rant. I'm done. I had my mini rant. We can move on now.
Well, I'll hit up my game that really shocked me this week. Play calling is a lot of vertical routes. He has to hold it long. I mean. What do you have to say about that? Play calling's a lot of verticals that Carson Wentz.
This is what I say when I say a lot of people talk about football and don't understand the sport. I mean, when you look at the plays being called, all these routes are for these receivers to get open, these long routes. These receivers don't separate from their corners. These receivers don't create any space. So when you have receivers not getting open, he has to hold the ball long to try to get somebody open. You know, a lot of Freddie, you making that face. Do you know?
I'm talking about what Nate the Great put on there. I'm not talking about you.
Nate's like you, delusional guys. But but like this is why I say people don't understand the game of football. You ought to understand why receivers have to get open. If they don't get open, who is he going to throw to? At the end of the day, all our wins the reason why we win, and you can say the reason why we lose too. But I'll take it any game of the week is when Carson Wentz tries to do extra things because obviously the play calling doesn't work. So, yes, he throws a lot of interceptions. Yes, he's getting sacked a lot holding the ball because you got to realize nobody's getting open. Every single time he calls the play, nobody gets open. And then we get away from the running game because Miles Sanders had one fumble in the first drive. The play calling is terrible, man. I can't.
I'll tell you what, I'll hit up two games real quick that really surprised me that weren't mentioned yet. Number one's got to be Green Bay and Indianapolis. I've been big on the Colts this season, but I mean, the Packers are a great offense. The number one offense, and the one problem that the Colts have been struggling with is a consistent offense. And they really showed it out this week. They really put it on the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers, not exactly the best defense, but I tell you what, the fact that they were able to come out in the second half, make some amazing adjustments. That's why I put Frank Reich in my top 10 coaches right now. I mean, he looked amazing in the second half. The Colts defense really stood up for their own and looked absolutely great. And that really shot the Colts up on my rankings, man. I'm really high on the Colts even more now to see that they came back and ultimately able to get that victory. Second, I'm going to go with the Kansas City, the Sunday night game, Kansas City and the Vegas Raiders. Man, whenever I tell you the Raiders, I've been high on the Raiders too. I said on this show, I want to say it was this show that they're going to go 12-4, and the one game they'd lose is Kansas City. But man, they almost made me eat my words. The only problem is they left a little bit too much time on the clock for Pat Mahomes. And I mean, you got to have the ball in your hand at the end of the game to make sure number 15 is not going to win the game. But ultimately, you want to talk about adjustments. I know Chris had mentioned adjustments, that your team needs to make adjustments. this Raiders team. This Raiders team, this Chiefs team could have made adjustments. They lost to them the first time they played, and you would think they'd come out with a little bit of a better game plan. But man, to take it down all the way to the wire, that Raiders team, you do not sleep on them. Do not sleep on them at all. All right. Let's move on from the week 11. Let's go on to a quarterback that had a pretty decent week this week in Deshaun Watson. I know that he had played very well against the New England Patriots. Where does this put him among quarterbacks? Where do you think right now in today's game, where is Deshaun Watson ranked in your quarterback list? I'll start with Chris. Chris, where do you have Deshaun Watson?
Not even just this year, but in general, you can make a strong case. He's top 5, top 6 quarterbacks in the game, and I don't think anybody can dispute it. Everybody loves Lamar Jackson, but Deshaun Watson is head and shoulders better than this guy. He's just as mobile, but he doesn't have to run as much because this dude has an arm and they have better weapons. Now, listen, I understand they traded away DeAndre Hopkins. We all understand how bad of a trade that was. You trade for a running back, you have one of the worst running games in the NFL. We all understand how bad it is, but still this guy has over 2,800 passing yards. Still he has 20 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions, completion rate over 68. Deshaun Watson is a beast. I still don't understand why he re-signed. I wanted him to go elsewhere because this organization, Coach Cam, what can go wrong will go wrong. Everything goes wrong for this team. They literally, through most of the 2010s, they were my dark horse every year to win an NFL championship, to go deep in the playoffs, and they always disappoint me because of the guy that they got rid of. So hopefully things can be different. But yeah, this dude is a top 5, top 6 quarterback in the game. He can make every throw. He's as mobile. You can argue he's the most mobile quarterback in the game. He'll run you over. He'll juke you. He can stand in the pocket and dot you up. He can go on a run. Even though he has a terrible offensive line, he still finds a way to get out, break sacks. Deshaun Watson is a beast, and I can't wait till I'm still upset that they traded away DeAndre Hopkins because DeAndre Hopkins is doing the same thing he was doing with Deshaun Watson. Him and the quarterback, they're gonna play pitch and catch. He's gonna be one of the best wide receivers in the game. I want Deshaun Watson to have a good enough roster around him so he can get the recognition he deserves. But all the real guys, the guys that know football, understands if you don't have him in at least your top 5, top 6, top 7, top 8, you're tripping out here. Stand on that. And what you can say, what you say, Freddie, what you saying? You can book it.
You can book it.
You can book it. He top 5, top 6 coming from me.
All right, Freddie, we'll get your opinion. Where do you rank Deshaun Watson among quarterback right now?
I don't think none of us will disagree about this. I mean, he's top 6, top 5, top 6. I mean, you're talking about a dude. You take DeAndre Hopkins away, and the dude is still nearly putting you up 3,000 yards right now. Have about 20 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. And you talking about a horrible offensive line. We just got done talking about Carson Wentz and Joe Burrow with a bad offensive line and gets sacked all day long, throw interceptions. And this dude, he's running with his feet, making things happen with his legs, and still making it get the job done. I mean, with 5 interceptions, I think he have 108 QBR rating. I mean, man, that dude is a beast. I mean, I've always liked Watson. I always thought he was with the wrong team, but I've always liked him as a quarterback.
Coach Cam, same for you. Top 5, top 6.
He ranges about top 15. Nah, I'm just kidding, man. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Nah, he's definitely top 5 through 7, anywhere around in there. Great quarterback. Great quarterback. What he does on week in and week out, with the roster he has, with the front office he has, it's quite amazing. And you know what? It's crazy as it sounds, like, they done, even though they lost last week, but just to keep kind of keeping this team not necessarily relevant, but just making them competitive week in and week out, man, without much help. It's really, really, really showing me a lot. I did not want him to resign, especially when they made that roster overhaul.
Me too.
Over the summer. I was like, oh man, I hope he don't resign there. But we'll see. They got Bill O'Brien out of there. We'll see what coach they bring in. We'll see what type of talent they bring. Unfortunately, they just don't have that pick, man. That hurts them. That hurts them not to have that. Possibly they'll turn into a top 10 pick. But Watson is definitely a top 5, top 7 quarterback anywhere in there.
I will say this, Will, before you go. If they can get the offensive coordinator from Kansas City to be that head coach, Was that going to be something you say? If it was, I'm
No.
sorry.
It wasn't.
Oh,
gonna be
B-Enemy?
Because I think that this dude,
I predicted that a long time ago.
honestly, I want him in Philly, to be honest with you, because I want a new head coach. So I want him in Philly. But this dude is going to be a guy that if he comes out, if he wants to be head coach this year, a lot of teams are going to be looking to, looking at him. And even a lot of teams that are saying, can we give our head coach another chance? No, let's get rid of him. Let's try to get this guy. Because this dude will be a good coach. He'll have the offense being a top 10 offense. And if he's with Deshaun Watson, because they still have weapons. No, they don't have D-Hop, but they have a good wide receiver combo over there. This team will be nice. We just, the offensive line, the running game, the defense has to improve. But just look out for Deshaun Watson even having a better year next year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. I think we all agree. Top 5, 6, 7. He's got to be in that range. I don't want to sit here and waste too much time on it, but yeah, I had mentioned a long time ago on my podcast that Eric Bieniemy would be an absolute addition to, especially to pair with Deshaun Watson. It would be a match made in heaven to get with him. But we've talked about the bright spot, the one bright spot in the Houston Texans organization. Let's talk a lot. Let's go back to lowlights a little bit. What exactly is wrong with the Baltimore Ravens? I mean, this team, talk about a fall from grace. I mean, this team was looked to be one of the top defenses in the NFL, had the reigning MVP. I mean, this team had it all made, and all of a sudden they're looking at an undefeated Steelers team next week and could be looking at 5 losses. I mean, this is a fall from grace to say the least. Chris, I'm going to start with you. What do you think's wrong with the Baltimore Ravens?
I mean, to all the family, I know that our Ravens fans can't talk about my team when your team is playing disappointing like this. I was high on the Ravens this year. I said possibly they could have one of the best records in the game, but I always had questions with the Ravens, and there's still questions now. Now, everybody, they believed in this offense. This offense will be great. This offense will be great. You need to understand they now have film, not on Lamar Jackson, but on this entire offense. This offense is so simple. There's nothing complex about this offense. If they can't run, they won't be able to do anything. If they go to pass, all they have is tight ends. Their wide receivers don't create enough space week in and week out for them to be truly, truly successful. Like every week, you're going to see Mark Andrews is more than likely the leading receiver. This year, this game, he had 96 yards. Next was Dez Bryant with 28. So understand these receivers aren't getting open. Understand this play calling is trash. Everybody wants to, say Lamar this and Lamar that. I understand Lamar is not the most accurate quarterback. I understand that, but Lamar doesn't have a lot of weapons he has to pass to. Then I look at the defense. The defense has been very, very disappointing. The one thing that is, that really, really stuck out, and I've been saying this last year, they need to have a dominant defensive line to be able to stop the run. I mean, the Tennessee Titans put up 173 yards on the ground. I understand Derrick Henry's a beast, but at the end of the day, if you're supposed to have a top defense, you're supposed to, be able to lock that up. He's still showing that he's going to run on you like he did in the playoffs. So this team right now, I mean, there's a lot of questions around them. It's looking like they possibly might not even be able to make the playoffs. And if they don't make the playoffs after adding the pieces they did in the offseason, that's a problem. And to me, yes, the defense has been playing bad, but the offense, I mean, listen, understand when you have a dynamic quarterback, surround him with weapons. 2 out of 3, 2/3 of their playbook is designed about running the ball. You're not going to be able to run every single down. You look at the Tennessee Titans. Yes, they have Derrick Henry, but they have Ryan Tannehill. They have a good tight end and 2 very, very good wide receivers and other complimentary guys. When you look at the Ravens, you have Mark Andrews. Doyle's hurt. Dez Bryant, they're not getting him. Not the right play caller. He's just coming back. Then who else? I mean, Brown, he's a speedster. He's not a guy that's going to run every single route in the route tree. Same thing with Snead. So, I'm not surprised because I knew this offense, once you gather film on this offense, it's not hard to guard. It's not hard to stop. So I think they need to, tool up this offense for next season because this year it's not looking good.
Freddie, let's get your opinions on what do you think is wrong with the Baltimore Ravens?
I 100% agree with what Chris Brown just said. I think there's a quote where the Lamar Jackson said that the opponent's defensive line was calling his plays before he even hiked the ball. I mean, that should tell you a lot right there. I mean, it's just that bad. I mean, the coach, the play calling is simple. I mean, yes, we know Lamar Jackson likes to use his legs, but guess what? You have to mix it up. If you don't mix it up, guess what? Teams will find a way to stop you. They seen what you did last year, okay? You ran over teams.
Just to add on with you, not only is it easy for teams to stop, they have film, but it's going to stunt Lamar Jackson's growth if you don't allow him to become a quarterback, if you don't allow him to pass, if you don't put in the plays in there, he's never going to develop as a quarterback and he's not going to develop for later on in his career. And if you want this guy to be your franchise quarterback, let him start passing now. Don't wait and want to run and hold him back, because when it's time for him to pass and he's not comfortable, it's your fault. Go ahead, Freddie.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good. Just like Chris said, you talking about a dude that could be in the league. Let's say you possibility stretching it out to 20 years. You cut it to 12 years because the deal was run, and hey, he can't run no more. But I mean, you're talking about a team who's in the same division with Pittsburgh, and they're 10-0. And I mean, I mean, this Thursday is a crucial game. They should treat this game as a playoff game because this game is going to keep them in the hunt. But yeah, Chris touched on it. I expect this offensive coordinator to be gone. They need to make some changes on the defensive end, and they need to give Jackson some weapons. I mean, no disrespect. I like Dez Bryant, but that's all you guys can give him, Dez Bryant. You guys need to get this dude an elite wide receiver, man.
Not even they need to bring in at least 10 wide receivers in the offseason just to try them out. I'm serious. You need all different. You need a big body receiver. A guy. They need a guy like Anquan Boldin, who they had. They need guys that can make plays. They need everything on that way. I mean, you have your speedsters, but who's going to be your other guys?
Oh, what if they need to make this trade? They need to get Thielen out of Minnesota. That dude right there, he can ball. If they can get Minnesota to give up him.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
That would be pretty big. I'm not gonna lie. I know they had a decent couple of late round wide receivers. They had taken Hamler, and I'm not sure too much of outside of Cincinnati, Coach Cam. I'm not too sure how deep you are into the American Conference, but they took that kid out of SMU, James Prochet, and that kid was absolutely nuts out there at SMU too. He was looking real good behind Shane Buechele. I thought in the 7th round. I thought that was a steal. I thought we might see him a little bit, but we haven't seen too much of him either. And now, as mentioned, by Antonio, JK and Ingram are both in COVID protocol, which is going to make it tough on Thursday.
Very tough.
Nail on the head right there. Coach Cam, let's go to you. What do you think is the problem with the Ravens?
It's a few problems. They want to run the ball, and they still effective running the ball, but it's not as effective. Ronnie Stanley out, arguably one of the best left tackles in the game. He's out. That's a huge blow when you're trying to bully people up front. At some point, you gotta let, like they said, you gotta let Lamar Jackson play football. You gotta let him to throw the ball. But the weapons, your number one target. I'm sorry, I know tight ends are valuable, but when your number one weapon is a tight end, when your tight end gets the most targets, I just feel like your offense really, really, really can't be as dynamic as it needs to be, and you need guys on the outside that can make plays, that can make tough catches. They don't have no one that can make a tough catch, really. When you're relying on Willie Snead, no disrespect to him, but he's never been known as the number one in this league. Hollywood still, we don't know really what is he in this league yet. He's made a couple splash plays, but outside of that, it's like, you haven't given us much consistency.
Like John Ross.
Like he's a better version of John Ross, absolutely. It's multiple things going on with the Ravens, and let's just be honest, the defense is not just completely locked down. I understand they're 6th in total yards, but they're giving up key drives. They're giving up key drives late in games that's losing them ball games. So, their defense not getting the clutch stops, and offense really, you can't get it going. It's not spread out. It's not diverse, and you see the record that you're getting.
Predictable with the run. Okay, I was gonna say they're what? Yeah, no, predictable with the run. No, very much so. It's a lot like these college teams. They call it the Heisman package whenever they throw out RG3, Lamar, and Mark Ingram out there. It's literally a lot like college teams that run just the option all the time because exactly what's coming. It's just whether or not you're gonna stop it. And speaking of which, I was going to say that whenever it comes to Lamar Jackson, another guy who came in, a mobile quarterback, really took the league by storm, and then really kind of fell off the next year after having a great year, was RG3. And then whenever the following season, you saw his rushing yards get cut in half. Literally in half. And it's because people get to see you more. Yeah, whenever you come into the league, whenever you're a completely different style of quarterback from almost every single other quarterback in the league, yeah, you're gonna change. You're gonna turn some heads in the NFL. You're gonna definitely have some great production. But whenever teams are really starting to figure out what the bread and butter is for this team, if you can stop the run, you're stopping the Ravens. That's the thing. And ultimately, if you make Lamar Jackson put the ball in his hands, try to make him make these passes, try to make these plays. The weapons aren't exactly there, and Lamar Jackson has proven that it's definitely more effective on the run. So we'll see exactly what comes out of Baltimore, because right now it's not looking good by any means.
I have a question for y'all. If you replace him with Baker Mayfield, do you think he'll thrive more with the Browns? More weapons, and they can still run the ball. Lamar Jackson.
I mean,
on the offensive side, the offensive line is. Go ahead, Coach King.
Because at some point we gotta start looking at Lamar Jackson too, though. I think.
Oh no, I look at him.
I know. I'm just saying, a lot of us, kind of let him off the hook. He was the MVP last year, and Lamar is easily likable. A lot of people doubted him and everything like that. And you kind of root for Lamar Jackson, but at some point, you gotta look at him and be like, he has to be better. Yes. And I think they'll be about the same, to be quite honest with you. They got 3 good running backs with the Ravens. They got Gus Edwards, they got J.K. Dobbins, they got Ingram. You got Chubb and Hunt there. I understand. They had OBJ before he got hurt.
OBJ, Landry, and then you still have a tight end. That's the only reason why I asked, because the 2 wide receivers. That's the only reason. I do hold him accountable. He's not the most accurate quarterback. He's gun shy sometimes. He makes the wrong reads. I hold him accountable.
But all that's what you're saying is just like what Baker is. Break the wrong reads. Throw a crazy pass to, rely on the run game heavy. That's why I said it'd be about the same. They got, what I mean? Because Baker is kind of like, and he don't even have the legs like that. So. I don't know. I think they'll be about the same, to be honest. Lamar just got to show me a little bit more in the passing game. He has to be more accurate.
I feel you on that.
I tell you what, I saw that comment that came up that just said that Lamar only has 100 more passing yards than Dak. And Dak started off the season really hot. I know he had a 500-yard passing game, but you want to know something that's a little bit more concerning? He only has 100 more passing yards than Gardner Minshew. That's the more concerning stat, in my opinion. Dak Prescott, we know who Dak Prescott is, but Gardner Minshew, who's missed the last 2 games as well. And then not to mention, it's Gardner Minshew. So that should let you know where exactly Lamar Jackson's at. And so, I mean, it's looking tough. And I think everybody mentioned it. I mean, they have more film on him. It's going to be a lot easier to stop it. We all know if you stop the run, you stop the Ravens. So it is what it is. But before we get into the NBA topics, we've been seeing a lot of comments on there. We appreciate you guys. I mean, everybody loves the interaction. We love it as hosts. We love to be able to respond to these comments. Chris, I know if people keep commenting, it can lead to some good things. Let's hear about it.
Yes. I see everybody in the comments right now. I just want to say thank you. Keep commenting. Keep liking the video, sharing the page. We see you out in the comments. We see everybody. We just want to say thank you. Whoever does that the most throughout the month, month's almost over, we'll be crowned the viewer of the month, and that viewer of the month will get their very own ASAP Network t-shirt.
And let's say that we're not in the comment section too much. How else can they get it?
Man, just message us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You're going to get your very own ASAP Network t-shirt. Shirts are $25 plus shipping and handling. You're going to get your nice ASAP t-shirt. See you ASAP.
All right. Moving on to the NBA topics. We always start with the hot take. Let's start with the hot take yet again. We're going to start here. This time we're going to start with Chris. I started with Freddie for the hot takes last time. We're going to start with Chris Brown. Chris Brown, need a hot take on the NBA.
Now, I had a hot take in mind that I was prepared for, but then something happened today, and it made me change my entire hot take. So the hot take I had today, I'll talk about it tomorrow. But here's my hot take for today. My guy was just signed. I've been high on this guy. Injuries been messing up the past couple of years. That's the only reason why they say this, they say that. Dude's had 3 injuries in 2 years, 3 major injuries. DeMarcus Cousins is back into the NBA, ladies and gentlemen. And not only is he back, he's back with the Houston Rockets. You want to know my hot take? My hot take is that the Houston Rockets will win the Western Conference. My hot take is that the Houston Rockets are going to be the most dangerous team this year. This is why. This is what the Rockets. Now I understand, Coach Cam, you think they need to blow it up. Freddie is called a hot take for a reason. You have to be hot. You can't just say this, that, and the third. This is a hot take. You know what a hot take is. So don't call it as disrespect. You know I'm a LeBron AD guy, but this is how I feel.
Unbelievable.
Now, Coach Cam, you said they need to blow it up.
Hell yeah.
I'm not going to argue with that at all. But you go out, and the biggest problem they had was big man defense, big man versatility. So you go out and you get before I even talk about DeMarcus, you get Christian Wood. I don't know why the Detroit Pistons, Ace, I know that's your team, got rid of him, and they paid Mason Plumlee 2 more. Then they went on to sign 18 more centers and 15 more power forwards. Yes, I'll call you delusional, Nate, because every day I wake up to 55 texts talking about there's 13 ways for the Jets to not make the playoffs. Dude, they have no wins. We know they're not going to make the playoffs. I'm tired of those texts, Nate. And then you made me say this. You made me say this on live. Now, you go out and you sign a Christian Wood. Christian Wood is a guy that can stretch the floor out for one, and he's a versatile defender. He can be good on the pick and roll if he gets switched onto a guard or forward. He can also hold down the paint. So that's your big man versatility. But then you sign a DeMarcus Cousins. Does he play defense if he's still? Yes, he played. Listen, he's there. He's not there to, if you want a defensive guy, that's what Christian Wood is there. Christian Wood is going to be that main defensive center. DeMarcus Cousins coming off this injury will give you a lot of offense. He never had to, I know he had all the injuries, but he never needed athleticism for him to be dominant in the NBA. He's been bully ball. He's been, I'm better than you. Let me go to work. So he's going to do the same thing. He's going to be able to stretch the floor out for one. He's going to be able to make plays if you want to do a pick and roll or a pick and pop for 2. He's going to be able to take advantages of mismatches. Now, I don't know if they're going to start Wood and bring DeMarcus Cousins off the bench. I would love to see that. But when their bench is a problem, they only have a 7-guy rotation. But if they keep this team intact with signing 2 versatile big men, I think they will be a problem. I think they have a good chance of making it out the Western Conference. I truly believe that.
I think I started with the right person when it comes to a hot take. I'm going to move to Coach Cam. I need a hot take on the NBA.
I mean, I can't get much hotter than that. I mean,
you're not supposed to agree with me. It's a hot take. I'm out here with it.
That's what. No. I'm just saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I could get much hotter than that. A hot take, man. I've been thinking about this because there's been a lot of things going on. A lot of teams getting this piece, a lot of teams getting that piece, and you know what? Hot take. And they've been on my what can go wrong, will go wrong list.
Don't say this team. Don't say this team. Don't say it.
But the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns will shock people in the Western Conference and will finish top 3.
Oh, that's your hot take?
That's my hot take.
Okay, because I was going to talk about it. Okay.
I think they going to finish top 3 in the West. I like what they're doing. I cannot lie. It takes a lot for a team to get removed from that list, but I can't help but to like the pieces. You pick up CP3, you sign Sarge back, you draft Smith. And Jay Crowder, that signing right there let me know that they're serious about trying to put together a winning team. Is Jay Crowder like the best or a superstar? No, but he's a gritty veteran and knows how to win. He's going to defend. He's going to hold players accountable. He's going to hold the Devin Bookers accountable when he's not playing on the defensive end. It's things like that. It's the little things that you need to make a ball club complete. And Jay Crowder really exemplifies those pieces, that type of player. I like what I'm seeing from the Phoenix Suns. I think they could be a top 3 team. Do I think they can make it far, like Western Conference? I don't think so. But in the regular season, things are different. So I do like this team being together and winning tons of games. I really do in the regular season. I see it happening.
All right.
Hot takes.
2 hot takes going in there.
Can I say something before Freddie? Freddie, you cannot say what he said is disrespectful if you think your team's going to be the first seed. That's all I have to say. That's all.
Why you gotta come at me? Somebody come at you in the comments. Go after them, not me.
You said I'm an East Coast team. I'm gonna talk about my team later. This was a hot take. My team isn't a dark horse. I mean, my my team is. This is a team that everybody expected was gonna blow up. Nate, don't listen, Nate. I'm your friend. You don't want to do that to yourself. And can I address this one thing? No, they will not. Your team made all the wrong moves. They did good on draft night. Then you signed 18 power forwards and centers. Y'all made terrible moves. Your team will not be good at all.
Chris is coming for people in the comments. I love it. All right, Freddie, we're going to go to you. I need a hot take on the NBA season.
Wow.
My hot take is, man, the Los Angeles Clippers got worse in free agency. What did they need? They needed a point guard. They should have been knocking on Rajon Rondo's door saying, hey, what do we need to pay you to come here? Instead, they let this dude to the Atlanta Hawks. You let Montrezl Harrell walk and go to the real team in LA. You signed Marcus Morris to a $64 million contract, which, hey, he can ball. He's a dog. Then you get Serge Ibaka. And Serge Ibaka is a good pickup for him. But they needed a true big man. Can he guard Joel Embiid? No. Can he guard a Jokic? No. Can he guard an Anthony Davis? No. You still have not fixed your problem. He's not going to stop them. I mean, he's not going to stop them at all. You mean to tell me Doc Rivers put Joel Embiid in that post and you put Serge Ibaka on and he going to stop him? No. I mean, Joel's too big for him. He's going to bag him up. And that's no disrespect to him. This dude was an all-defensive player in his day. Okay, that's no disrespect to him. I would have liked Serge Ibaka coming off the bench for the Clippers. You have a big body in there like the Lakers do, what they did last year with Morris. Rotate them. When you go small, then Serge Ibaka look nice.
That's what they're going to do.
But what are you going to do when you play against a team that have Joel Embiid out there?
Regular season, I'm gonna talk about that later. That's your hot take. That's your hot take. Freddie, no, Coach Cam, we're gonna talk about Ibaka later. We're gonna talk about Ibaka later. That's why I'm letting him go. So we're gonna talk about Ibaka later.
The Clippers have got worse. They are not going. Man, they might be a top six.
Can I say one thing though? It's only been 1 week. It's only 1 week. They didn't get worse. Let me.
Who are they going to get now, Chris? Who's out there for them to get? What point guard?
You still got Reggie Jackson, who's a very, very good point guard.
Last year.
Okay, he didn't get enough minutes, and when he did get minutes, he showed he could get buckets. There's your point guard.
It's not about buckets, man. It's about they need a floor general.
And then, like I said, it's been 1 week. You act like they can't make any trades. I still stand on Paul George going to be traded for a point guard.
Russell Westbrook?
Then they say Russell Westbrook. I said he will get traded. I don't know. I just know he's going to get traded. That's why he signed Marcus Morris to return. Regardless, Freddie, after 1 week, it's a lot of teams that got a lot worse. The Clippers, I would take Ibaka for Montrezl Harrell.
I would too. A lot of look, man. I understand Montrezl Harrell is a gritty guy. He's like defense, but you know what I mean. But he really 6'6", 6'7" in that paint. He can't shoot the ball. You know what I mean? He's not going to stretch the floor. He's not a rim protector.
Thank you.
You know, Ibaka, he's getting old, but he can still block some. He's still a force in the paint far as on the defensive end. He can step out and hit the long two, hit a three. What are you shaking your head for? He can. He can shoot the ball.
What is he going to do against him?
Listen to what you're saying. There's only a handful of Joel Embiid.
Exactly. What was Montrezl Harrell going to do?
Joel Embiid and Jokic. Who going to kill you on the block? Outside of that, who going to kill you on the block like that?
I would take Ibaka doing it over Montrezl Harrell any day of the week.
But how are you getting better though? You're not. They're not getting better, Chris.
Okay. I'm talking about. We're going to talk about Ibaka later. You know, matter of fact, cut that topic out. We're going to talk about Ibaka right now. Will, I'm sorry. You can rant all you want when we're done.
I'll get a hot take later. Let's get to it.
At the end of the day, Montrezl Harrell, he's a dog. He's all offense, no defense. Their problem was they needed defense at the big man position. Listen, Serge Ibaka, 6'9", 6'10". Montrezl Harrell, 6'7", 6'8". You're saying, well, what happens when he goes against the Joels, the Jokic's? There's only about 5 to 6 good offensive centers.
Anthony Davis's. I mean, what is
even that?
Okay, and I would take Ibaka guarding him over Montrezl Harrell because Montrezl Harrell can't play no defense. At the end of the day, you're missing two things: somebody that can play defense at the center position. Serge Ibaka is still one of the best big man center defenders in the game, and he's versatile, so he can switch on the pick and roll. Then on the offensive side, that's cool. Montrezl Harrell can score in the paint, but when you have Paul George, when you have Lou Will, when you have guys like Kawhi Leonard, you need somebody that can stretch out the floor. Serge Ibaka is shooting over 38% from the three-point line. Montrezl Harrell not stretching out the floor. So at the end of the day, you can say, "Oh, he's not giving you 18 a night like Montrezl was." I'm not done talking. This is my point. You said yours. I'm talking. But in the playoffs, Serge Ibaka did show up. Serge Ibaka, yes, can still defend the rim. And yes, I think he's a better offensive fit for this Clippers team. Now, yes, we all understand, Freddie, he stretches out the floor. That means he can play at the
I didn't say nothing about offense, Chris. But I asked you, what is he going to do against Joel Embiid? And nobody can tell me that. Nobody.
Listen,
he's
going to do it better. So what was Montrezl Harrell going to do? What was Montrezl Harrell going to do?
What would Harrell do?
I didn't say he was.
Okay.
He's not an offensive.
But listen, Freddie.
He's going to be better. He's going to hold his own more than Montrezl. They needed a defensive center. What was Montrezl going to do? You upgraded it by getting a guy that can actually hold his own. He's shaking your head. Listen.
The Clippers' best bet is go get Whiteside. That's their best bet. But they're going to get punked on in.
Whiteside's not going to play at the end of the game because when you have a guy like Anthony Davis, he's going to run right by Whiteside. Well, when you have a guy like not done talking. When you got a guy like Jokic, he's going to dribble and do whatever he wants on the perimeter on a guy like Whiteside. Why do you get Ibaka? Because he can defend the rim and he can go out on the perimeter. That's why you get Ibaka. It was a smart move. Because I bet you if he came to Lakers, Freddie would have loved it.
Yes, you know why? Because we have a big man, Chris. We don't just have small dudes in the post. I have a guy that I can put in the post to go against the Joel Embiid. That's what the Clippers.
You're only going to see Joel. You keep saying Joel Embiid.
Freddie, listen. You say Joel to go up against the Joel Embiid, to go up against the Jokic's, right?
Name 10 other centers that can do that.
As far as 5 men. Far as 5 men go, I'm talking about centers, not power forwards. I'm talking about centers. There's only 2 that can get you buckets like that without catching a lob.
Three.
Jokic and Embiid. Who else would you dump it to from the 5 position to go get you a bucket?
Karl-Anthony Towns, and that's it.
Who else?
Coach Cam.
Who else?
So what's going to happen? What's going to happen for this Clipper team meet this Nuggets team in the playoffs? Guess what? They don't have a big that can stop the Joker. And get,
they don't have a big. You act like Serge Ibaka is bad on defense. He's going to hold his own.
Man, Serge Ibaka.
They got worse.
Do you watch? Did you? I'm done. You don't. Listen. Even he doesn't watch basketball. He doesn't watch basketball.
I do. I see them. The one that weakness them getting punked in the post.
15 points, 8 rebounds in 27 minutes for Ibaka. You telling me that's not going to be helpful?
It's going to be helpful. I agree. It's a good pickup. I 100% agree. But I'm just saying they did not address their needs. And they need a big man to get in the paint.
He is the guy that you need. He still defends the rim. Did you not watch them in the playoffs? He did his job playing defense, my guy. I don't understand. I don't think you watch basketball.
Didn't Joel Embiid have his way in the playoffs against them?
They didn't play the playoffs, Freddie. That's how I know you don't watch basketball. I'm done talking.
They have played in the playoffs in Toronto.
All right.
I'm just saying.
We played the Boston Celtics. We did not play them this year in the playoffs.
What about the previous year? Y'all
Marcus Gasol guarded him, not Serge Ibaka.
But still, he's not going to have his way. Let
me move on. I'm done. I can't. This dude don't watch basketball. This dude don't watch basketball. We got to move on.
I see. The two things.
Okay, we understand. Point guard and a defensive center, which you don't.
Yeah, so they got worse.
Okay, go ahead. We're done.
They did not get worse, man. You got to stop saying that, G.
You make no sense.
For real. And you got to think, they still got players like JaMychal Green who can do the things Harold can do. It can step out and shoot.
I'm saying.
Man.
Like, what? You need the defense at the big man position. That's Serge Ibaka. I mean, what the? I'm sorry. I'm done.
He got work. 100%.
All right, Freddie. Go ahead. We done.
All right. Wow. Okay. Sure, Freddie. I don't even know where to go after that. Even as not even a big basketball fan, I'm almost at a loss for words. But I think I had a hot take to do. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Hot take. This is a team that's definitely on Coach Cam's list of what can go wrong, will go wrong, and I'm going to join Coach Cam in the fact that it's not going to be this year. I think the Charlotte Hornets are a top 6 seed in the East. I think with the additions they've made of LaMelo Ball, Gordon Hayward, I think this is going to be huge. I think they're a young team that's really big and up and coming, and I think a lot of players are going to take that next step this year. Everybody knows that the Eastern Conference is pretty soft. We'll see a little bit of an improvement with a team such as the Brooklyn Nets. But there are some other teams such as the Indiana Pacers that I don't see performing just as well. I see a couple teams really kind of falling back. I don't know how I feel about the Orlando Magic quite yet. I just think Charlotte Hornets are one of those teams that, I mean, they finished last year in the 10 seed. It's a team I could see moving up quite a bit, especially with some of the additions and subtractions that some of the other teams in the NBA had. So I'm going to take the Charlotte Hornets as a top 6 team in the East as my hot take for the NBA season. And we've already addressed the Serge Ibaka conversation, so we're going to have to keep it moving right along to our next topic after that. So after that, we got to talk about which team surprised you the most in week 1 from their additions or subtractions, trades, whatever have you. Coach Cam, I'm going to start with you. What team really shocked you in week 1?
I know I just picked the Suns, so I'm not really gonna pick them again. I'm gonna actually go somewhere. I'm gonna go somewhere. I'm gonna go with Chris 76ers. I thought they really pulled off some really good moves early on to really help their team get better. As far as adding shooting, but which they needed bad when you have two mainly guys that hang around the paint area, such as Embiid and Ben Simmons. You must load them up with shooters. I thought they did a good job, especially after letting JJ Redick walk out the door, adding a Seth Curry, because they have defense, already far as perimeter defense goes on the wings, but they needed shooting. So adding Seth Curry, and adding, other shooters around them really helped them. And this is, I think, this has to be the year for the 76ers. This has to be the year for the 76ers. I do like their move. They surprised me the most in week 1, but this has to be the year for them. If they can't make a deep playoff push, you know how I feel about it. Time to bust it up.
All right, we'll move on to Freddie. Freddie, we need what team shocked you the most in week 1?
The Boston Celtics. They let Gordon Hayward go, which me personally, I think Tristan Thompson was a good pickup for him because they needed a big man. But I would have liked to try to trade Gordon Hayward to the Pacers for Miles Turner. I would, if you're Danny Ainge, that's one missing piece. You're talking about a big man that can post you up in the post, get mid-range shots, spread the floor out. And Miles Turner, he's a good young big, and just put him a piece of that nucleus with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown would have been, and Kemba Walker would have been big. Yes, I like to pick up a Tristan Thompson, a veteran big, but I would have liked to see them try to get something out of Gordon Hayward instead of just letting him walk. This would be the second player they let walk with Kyrie Irving and him now. So, and man, we said before, Danny Ainge has dropped the ball with Anthony, just not picking up a big time player. Period. With all the assets this team have and this franchise not throwing them out there to get that player, it's kind of surprising, honestly.
I'll throw it to you, Chris. What team shocked you the most in week 1?
The team that shocked me the most, I'd have to say the Atlanta Hawks. This was a team that, everybody knows my thoughts on Trae Young. Good offensive player, no defense, not a lot of guys around him, so this team is going to be the best competitive-wise. Well, what they did is they got a steal in the draft, the center, power forward / center, Onika from USC, which I think was a great piece. And you went out, you go get a Danilo Gallinari, you go get a Rondo. They're trying to get Bogdanovic. This team has made a lot of improvements. And I think they're not done. They might do some more. And you still have DeAndre Hunter. You still have Hubert. You still have John Collins. You still have Cam Reddish. This team is legit. This team, no, I'm not saying they're going to win the NBA championship, but I will say they will be competitive. This is a team, like Coach Can said, kind of into what can go wrong, will go wrong. They had a stint where they were a very good regular season team, can't win anything in the playoffs. I think their roster, I like the way it's being built right now. I got to say, you paid Danilo Gallinari a lot of money. I kind of question. But at the end of the day, if you want to be competitive, and if you look who is out there, you just want to get another consistent scorer, a veteran type of guy. At the end of the day, I'm not mad at it because most of your nucleus is young. So I love what they've been doing. You get Rondo to help mentor Trae Young. He's going to be that. And they get Chris Dunn. I didn't say him. Chris Dunn, to me, I was so high on him when he got drafted. You know, it took him time to develop. I think he developed one of the best two-way guards in this game. So I think he's going to have a good fit there. Listen, this team is great. They addressed the defensive problems. They got more scoring. They have a good front court rotation. And they can still, if they want, if Onika starts to play good and they like that third big man, fourth big man coming off the bench, if they want, they could try to put a package together, trading away Clint Capella and getting some real talent in Atlanta. So I think this team is set for the future, and I love what they've been doing week one.
Hey, and they got Boban Bogdanovic. I know I might have screwed that name.
I said that.
My bad here.
No, I was actually going to.
He signed the offer sheet. I don't think it's official just yet.
No,
yeah, because King got a chance to match.
Yeah, the Kings have 48 hours to do it. They have to do it by tomorrow. But I was also going to follow up with the Atlanta Hawks, man. You want to talk about a one-man show turning into quite a group of players there between Danilo Gallinari, Gordon Hayward, now Rajon Rondo to be off that bench to kind of back up Trae Young. I mean, it's going to be one hell of a change out there in Atlanta. I mean, it's almost a completely different team. I mean, it's a whole different personnel overhaul. I mean, there are players that it just keeps coming. And like mentioned, I mean, Clint Capella could still be a trade piece if Okongwu kind of comes out and performs to the expectations that we could see him performing to. So I think the Atlanta Hawks, I'm going to agree with Chris on that one. I think the Atlanta Hawks are really setting themselves up for success because, I mean, they're bringing in players left and right, man. And I tell you what, this is going to be a team to reckon with if everything goes well. But like Coach Cam says,
they ain't off my list. They ain't off my list yet. They're
not off my list too.
Obviously, we have to see it before we can take them off. But man, they're definitely looking like they're making the right improvements.
Just to address this, though, top three in the East. Say this, I know, not y'all. I don't want to give them that title. I will say top six for sure. And I said this before they started free agency. After the draft pick, I thought they were in the right direction. But just what I will say, right? Yes, you have Trae Young, you have Rondo, you have Chris Dunn. Rondo's the veteran. Rondo might not play every single game. You're going to get that same type of value out of Chris Dunn. Rondo's also the veteran with experience. He can help out guys like Chris Dunn, who can be that backup guard for them for the future. Then you got to understand there's times where you can have 2 or 3 guards out on the floor at once, depending on the matchups. So in this NBA, it's kind of positionless basketball. Chris Dunn might be ended up guarding an undersized small forward. Rondo may be out there guarding your team's best shooting guard. And Trae Young is your offense. Or you want to go straight defense with Trae Young being on the bench sometimes. So, it's you got 3 guards, but in NBA, 3 guards can still work.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to our next topic here. We're going to talk about, we talked about what team shocked us the most in week one. Let's talk about the team that made the biggest improvements. This is a great graphic there to show what team really did that to their team. Really went from, not so great or maybe even good to phenomenal. Who took the biggest leap so far? I'll start with you, Chris. We'll go in reverse order.
Listen, everybody knows who my team is, right? I mean, you see the banner right there. You see the banner. And no, I'm not being a homer. And the fact that Coach Cam said my team earlier gives me even more confidence talking about them right now. And this is why I said the Philadelphia 76ers really made the best improvements. Because you look at all other top teams, one thing most of them check the boxing on is coaching. Now, Coach Cam, I know your opinion on Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
But if that's your opinion on Doc Rivers, then you can't tell me you had an even better opinion on Brett Brown. This dude was not the coach for this team. He didn't utilize his players right. He was the only one that wanted to draft the guy in Zaire Smith, who never panned out over guys like Mikal Bridges, Michael Porter Jr., and other quality guys playing in the league right now. Like I said, he didn't use his players right. His rotations was wrong. Everything about him just didn't mesh. Like everybody's game took a step back last year and especially this year, especially your 2 top guys. And that's a problem when you're not using them in the right way. So you get rid of him, and, I understand your opinions on Doc Rivers, and they're valid. But him over Brett Brown, listen, that is a huge improvement. That's like getting a brand-new truck or a decent truck over a car from the 1950s. He was that bad of a coach. So I love the Doc Rivers moves. You go get Sam Cassell. This is why I love Sam Cassell as assistant. Look what he did with John Wall. Look what he did with Chris Paul and all the backup point guards he had that all turned out to be starters. You know, look what he did with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander before he had to get traded. Now you bring in Tyrese Maxey. Listen, he's going to get the best out of Tyrese Maxey. You know, the second half of the season, Tyrese Maxey is going to make a push for Rookie of the Year. That's how much I love Sam Cassell as the assistant coach because he works those guards. Not only is he going to, you can't trust his opinion. He's wearing a Bengals jersey. Nah, but this why you can trust his opinion. Anybody that openly roots for the Bengals, Doc is a good move for the Sixers. I agree. You know, shout out to you, my guy. How big is Al Horford loss? I'm going to get into all that. Don't worry. Listen, you can. Oh, Freddie, what are you doing? No, you can, respect the guy like Coach Cam because anybody that's openly going to root for the Bengals, you know they're a real fan. You gotta love it. I'm just being honest. So. You go get a Doc Rivers and Sam Cassell. We have so many other assistants. I'm not even going to name all of them, but they're all valuable being head coaches. Dave Yeager is one of them, right? So you go get a Daryl Morey. Finally, we have a front office that one will make the right moves and knows how to improve a roster. Well, you can say a lot about Daryl Morey, but he puts rosters together because he thinks that's the best to win. So we went out. You look what we did in draft night. Tyrese Maxey, 2 great, steals in the second round. Then you go trade for a Seth Curry, a Danny Green. We get rid of Al Horford, who's making $29 million to score 10 points, playing like a backup center. $29 million. He was making the top 5 when you talk about centers value for the contract. He was in the top 5 to score 10 points. You get rid of him. You had Danny Green, championship mentality, championship player, championship experience, one of the best 3-and-D guys in the game. You go get a Seth Curry, one of the best shooters in the game. You go get a Dwight Howard, one of the best backup centers in the game. You improve this roster. You get these 2 guys shooters, and everybody knows basketball. They know if you ever – you saw what happened when we had shooters in 2017, 2018. We made a run. Now we have even more shooters. When you give these 2 players, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid shooters, their game is going to take off. When you give Tobias Harris the coach at his game, Doc Rivers, when he was with the Clippers, that's when Tobias Harris played the best. He came to Philly, Brett Brown didn't use him right. I fully expect Doc Rivers to unlock all these guys and play them at their full potential. When you upgrade in the front office, your team automatically gets better. When you make your roster better for your 2 stars, your team gets better. I don't think no team really made a full improvement to the entire organization like the Philadelphia 76ers did.
Since we're going in reverse order, we got to go to Freddie. Freddie, we'll get your opinion on what team you think made the biggest improvements.
Man, Chris, I was about to say the 76ers, but let me go to another team.
Wait, can I just say something? I just want everybody to know the fact that everybody's acknowledging how big of an impact the Sixers did with improving, not saying we're the favorite. I'm not going to jump out and say that, but the fact that people can acknowledge we're in the right direction, it makes me proud. It made me proud.
All right, let's keep it moving. So I will go with the Milwaukee Bucks. You're talking about a team that's on the verge of losing Giannis Antetokounmpo, and you have to do whatever you have to do to try to get this team to win the championship, and you was able to pull off a trade to get a Drew Holiday and not involve a trade with Chris Middleton. So now you have your number 1 in Giannis, you have your number 2 in Drew Holiday, and Chris Middleton's your number 3. I mean, you're talking about a 3-headed monster. I mean, hey, I'll take that any day. Then he was able to. I was wishing they would have been able to keep Boban Bogdanovic, but they lost that. They ended up getting DJ Augustine, which I think he can be a steady point guard for them that can, give you scoring at times when you need it. You do have your bench. The only thing is they have a decent bench. Is
I'll rebuttal when you're done.
The only thing is that coach need to be better coaching. You definitely Chris talks about all the time. Definitely need to play Giannis Antetokounmpo more than 30 minutes a night because the dude's a beast. You need to they have more shooters around him. When you bring in a Drew Holiday, spaced out the floor because when you talk about in the playoffs, because we all know what the opponent team's going to do. They're going to build a force right there where they're going to force Giannis to take jump shots. And if this team if Drew Holiday is a big help for him, man, this team can go far in the playoffs. Man, I think this is going to be the first year, man, in a while that the Eastern Conference is actually going to be really interesting because you have the Nets, you have the 76ers, you have the Bucks. I mean, you still have teams under that, so it's going to be really interesting this year.
We'll move on to Coach Cam. What team do you think made the biggest improvements in your eyes?
Make the biggest improvement. So when I think biggest improvement, I think of teams that were terrible, and I think of teams that that really boosted themselves up.
Be a
Uh,
homer.
I,
Be a
and I,
homer.
I'm not being a homer. I'm
Okay.
not. I'm not going to be a homer on this one. We made some improve. I do like our perimeter defense,
Mhm.
definitely better. But I'm not going to pick. I'm not going to pick my Dallas Maverick. Excuse me. I'm gonna go with the Charlotte Hornets, man. A team that was lower to low. I think you're blessed that ball drops to you. Um, and I'm sorry, y'all. Tom Brady just do another duck that's gonna end this game. Um, for
Rams?
another pick. Yeah, Rams gonna win. I told y'all about them. I told y'all about them. But anyway,
I hate
back to
dogs,
the
but
NBA.
anyway.
Back to the NBA. Charlotte Hornets. I thought they made great improvement. Lucky for ball to drop to them. Then you get Gordon Hayward, which kind of came out of nowhere, and they actually waived that contract of Nick Batum. That automatically makes them better, and it gives
The
them more
worst signing
flexibility.
ever.
It was the worst contract ever, and you get a proven guy that's know how to win in Gordon Hayward. Lonzo Ball's gonna make them. I mean, not Lonzo. LaMelo Ball's gonna make them better. You got Devontae Graham, who was arguably,
Should have won most
a
improved.
most improved
He should have
player.
won it.
So putting up 20 a game. Next for them, like I said, they did sign some center or draft some centers. I like Nick Richards. Hopefully, they can try to get one more guy in there that can really be a veteran presence for them for a big man. But they're out there. I think they'll be fighting for an 8 seed. Man, that 8 seed is up for grabs. The 7 and 8
Yeah.
seeds. Yeah, I think you knock out the Pacers. I think the Pacers are going to come back down. And some other teams are going to come back down. So we'll see. We'll see about that. But I'm definitely excited about the Charlotte Hornets and what they did. I thought they made some big improvement. You should see that in the win loss total.
I think it speaks that I was also going to fall into that same category with the Charlotte Hornets whenever I had mentioned that I think they were going to be a top 6 seed as my hot take in the Eastern Conference. I think I'm going to follow along with Coach Cam. Like he mentioned, Gordon Hayward getting Nicholas Batum's contract off the books is definitely going to be a huge help later on down there. LaMelo Ball is going to, like I said on here I want to say on Thursday's episode, he's going to change the culture. This is going to be a lot of young guys really coming up. I think that getting Batum off the books is absolutely huge. And then getting another shooter out there in Gordon Hayward, I think is going to be an absolute great addition. I think you're going to see big things from this team. And like I said, it's another year in the books, another year under the feet of these young players out there in Charlotte. And I think it's going to really pay off and pay dividends for Charlotte and company. So let's move on to a team. Let's move on to the NBA champions, actually, the reigning NBA champions. Let's talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and the moves that they have made. Let's go with Freddie. We'll start with you. Do you like
Oh God,
upgrades? Let's get this one out of the way. So,
Freddie, before you go, Freddie, you're going to get the spot. Everybody, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. He's going to go full-fledged homer. Everybody in the comments is going to call him delusional, and me and Coach Cam are going to tell him about the game of basketball. But listen.
Chris, did I interrupt you before you went? Did he say me, not you?
I don't care. I'm giving you. I'm telling you. He said Chris can give Freddie the full screen, and I'm trying to tell you, I'm setting you up. I'm giving you the lob. Now you better finish it. No. Whoa.
What did we do? We got some dogs on our team. Well, you know what? It's real rare that the championship team go out there and get better, but we got better. We got much better. Rob Pelinka should have got executive of the year last year in my eyes. And this year, he definitely should get executive of the year. Why is that? He wasn't playing them games like he did last year with Kawhi with Rondo. He had a feeling Rondo was going to walk out the door. And what did he do? He made a trade and get Dennis Schroeder up in here. Yes, he might not be the best defensive player and the best point guard like Rondo was, but guess what he is? He's younger. He's a dog. He have a fight in him. He'll come off the bench and give you 18 a night. And Frank Vogel's going to have these guys playing defense. So don't be surprised if you see that. And then we got rid of Danny Green. Woo! That was the savior right there. We had paid him $15 million, however much we paid him. He was hot garbage for the Lakers. Get on that contract. Then we got a similar guy in him, like Wesley Matthews. We paid him $3 million. But guess what? I expect him with LeBron and AD, the floor be more space. I expect him to knock down more shots this year, and he's a good 3-and-D guy. We still have Alex Caruso. We was able to bring in. The Marc Gasol was a big signing. Wow, we lost Dwight Howard. We needed another big body that could be in the post, block some shots, spread the floor. He's a good passer. Marc Gasol, he more than likely be the starter out there. And have you want to have. And then what do? The Clippers, y'all in trouble because obviously nobody want to play for you. Oh, Montrezl Harrell came on next door. And he said, I want to play with the purple and gold. That's what he did. And what is he? He's another dog. Y'all know what he is. So just think him, the sixth man of the year. Him, Shooter coming off that bitch, they're going to give you about 40, 50 a night. And then you have Kuzma who's going to give you about 10. So we're going to have the best bench in the league next year. And then we was able to bring back Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. One of our best 3-and-D guys last year. He showed up in the playoffs. This dude we brought him back for 3 years, $40 million. He's a beast. He's a hustler. He do not give up. He can knock down a shot. He can play defense. And then the Clippers tried to do it again. They tried to do it again this morning. Try to take the Morris brother. And what Rob Pelinka do? Said, no, sir. Come on back over here. Brought Markieff Morris back over here, another dog. So this team have a bunch of dogs on the team, and I'm just waiting for the big fish to drop. Because when that big fish drop, that grease gonna get the sizzling, and we gonna be the frying, baby. We ready. LA ready. We set. Oh, Will, I'm gonna get you a jersey because we ready.
And if you see Anthony Davis sign with any other team, you'll see a grown man cry on camera. But
I might not come on the show. I'm not gonna lie. If that happened, y'all gonna have to hold it down for a couple of days. I'm not gonna lie.
We're gonna be making fun of you every day.
I'll be hurt.
all right, Coach Cam, what's going on?
Please,
Coach Cam. Will, did you say your team first?
What?
Did you say your team already?
No, I'm still not affiliated.
Like your team for this topic.
Oh no, the Lakers. Yeah.
Well, we're referring to the Lakers upgrades.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because me and Cam about to kill Freddie. That's why I wanted. He was ready for this.
Feel free to
destroy. Now, look. Okay. People want to talk about upgrades with the Lakers. They all excited. They all giddy. Now, I give it to you. Dennis Schroeder, great move. Can't deny that move. But you keep being high and mighty on Wes Matthews. That's where it stops, Freddie. Remember, he played for my Dallas Mavericks. I seen him up close and personal. You call him an upgrade, right? You call him a better. You didn't call him an upgrade from Denny Green.
We don't have to post the messages in here.
I said he's an upgrade because of money. He's cheap.
Do we have to put? We don't have to put the messages in here. Do we have to put the messages in here?
Yeah.
I think, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to post all the screenshots. Freddie said Wesley Matthews shot more threes.
And show
me where I said it because he's cheaper. He costs less too, Chris.
He said, and I quote,
he said he would knock down more shots.
And he didn't. He said he made more 3-pointers this year than him, and he didn't.
No, he's not. Okay. So
Coach Cam, go, and I'll go after you. Go ahead.
Danny Green shot 41% from the field, 36% from three, right? Wesley Matthews, 39.6% from the field, 36 from three. What's the difference? Nothing. That's not an upgrade. Now, that's not an upgrade.
The money's cheaper.
No, now you
so what?
No.
So what? Y'all going into the luxury tax anyway.
Exactly. Y'all was going into the luxury
tax. Y'all in the luxury tax anyway.
You're paying a guy less, but you're not getting the production. I mean, is it an upgrade?
We will this year. We will this year.
So automatically, he's just gonna be just great because he touched a Laker uniform. No.
This dude is a shooter with Anthony Davis and LeBron on the floor.
See, that's what,
Giannis.
You
He
just
had
called him a
Giannis.
shooter. He's the same shooter
There's Danny
as Danny
Green.
Green.
He's never
And you
gonna be this
saying
wide open
upgrade.
before.
We're
You
talking
had
about
played
Lakers
with Giannis.
roster.
Giannis gets every
one guy. We talking about LeBron and Anthony Davis. He's never gonna be
Giannis.
wide
Chris
open.
Middleton
I
got
know
him
you've
open.
seen in the playoffs. I know you've seen in the playoffs
You don't watch
when
basketball.
Giannis came down the court and the Miami Heat built that wall of 4 people at the top of the key, not let him drive. And he was kicking it to guys like Wes Matthews, who was bricking corner 3-point
It's
shots.
different, Coach Cam.
Period. It's not different. What's different?
LeBron know how to get the ball to him.
Man, stop.
I've
Freddie,
heard
stop.
LeBron say
Freddie,
this
stop
many
it.
times.
Stop this, Freddie. Stop
I've
it.
heard LeBron say this many
Stop
times.
it.
He asks his players,
Stop
where do
it.
you want the ball?
And you talk
And he's
about
going
the
to make
roster,
sure you get it
and
to
you're
him.
talking about Marc Gasol. He's old as dirt. Can't move in the pick and roll. As soon as I see Marc Gasol in there, I'm getting my 2 baskets.
Pick and roll all day.
Luka and KP. Oh, we
They
pick and
going
rolling
kill
all
him.
day.
They going
We
kill
play
him.
Gasol on the island, and we're cooking him up. You know what? If we play y'all, you're
It's
not even
old.
going to play Gasol because he won't even make the floor. Because I'm putting him in pick and rolls with Kleber, and he going to have to guard. And that's the problem. He's not going to be able to guard like Dwight Howard. That's not an upgrade.
He's a better defender.
He's
Coach, can I go? Can I go? Can I go? Can I go?
Every
Can I go?
NBA
Can I go?
expert that I've seen, they say he's a
Can I
better
go?
defender. So are you saying that actual NBA insiders are lying, Chris? Are you saying that?
Name
Why
10
are you
insiders.
saying that?
Name 10 insiders that said it.
I want to say 10.
Because I'll tell you right now,
if
if you watch the playoffs, Marc Gasol was the worst player on that Toronto Raptors team. You said he was a defender. He averaged less than a half a block. He was getting killed on pick and rolls. I'm not done talking.
No, he wasn't.
I'm not done talking. I'm not done
Before he
talking.
stacks up.
You saying he's an upgrade? Listen, I got his playoff stats right here. He averaged 0.6 blocks, 6 points, and shot 18% from the 3-point line. You said he's a good passer. The dude only averaged, he averaged 2.6 assists. He's going to be decent. He's going to get killed in the pick and roll, like Coach Cam said. Did you watch the playoffs?
No,
he
he's
got
not.
killed against the Celtics. He got killed against the Nets. He didn't score at all. He's not the same scorer that he was with Memphis. Even a couple of years ago, he did not knock down the 3-ball in the playoffs. I'm talking about the playoffs. Isn't the passer or playmaker is LeBron?
Exactly.
We all know that. But when you have a guy like Giannis, when they build a wall around you and you kick it out, then everybody's going to be open. And that was Coach Cam's
wide open 3 is a wide open
and like, you know,
what's the difference between
Wesley, you know, Danny Green shot over 40% from the 3-point line multiple times. Wesley Matthews did it once. They're not the same shooter. They're not the same because if anything, Danny Green is better. But I'm talking about Marc Gasol because now I'm going to talk about these topics. Listen, Marc Gasol is not an upgrade from Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard's a better defender. Marc Gasol is not the same offensive guy. He's not going to finish around the paint like Dwight Howard did. He's not going to bring you the energy and the gritty. You talk about a dog. Dwight Howard's a dog. Marc Gasol is a little chihuahua, my friend. They're not the same dog. Montrezl Harrell, that's bench scoring. I can understand that his defense is very, very questionable. But when we talk about bench scoring,
This dude is an underrated defender. He can block shots. He rebounds. I mean,
Coach Cam, did you watch the playoffs? Did you watch the playoffs? What did you see? What did you see your team? What did you see your team do against them?
Well, this playoff, they crumbled in the playoff, Chris. They was with the Clippers.
But the playoffs.
But you got to realize this year. Look at this year, Lakers team that won the championship. Guess what? A lot of them guys was questioning, can you do it? Can they do it? At the beginning, everybody was questioning them.
Who questioned
you got a coach of Frank Vogel who's going to inspire. I'm talking. He's going to inspire.
But I wasn't done talking. You cut me off. You cut me off.
Play defense. And guess what? He's going to elevate them to be a top defensive team yet again. Blano Hollins was there when he coached Marc Gasol in the grit and grind today. Guess what?
He's not the same player. That's 7. First of all, that's 6-7 years ago. Secondly, every player on the Lakers roster could actually play defense. No player had questions about their defense on the Lakers roster.
Not what I heard.
What did you talking about? What you heard? I'm talking about what I saw with my own eyes. See, I understand the game of basketball.
I'm talking about what I heard. Everybody kept saying this.
But I don't care about what people said if I know how to break down the game and understand the game. Why am I going to listen to guys that never played the game? What I do is I talk to people that actually played the game and I get their opinions. I don't listen to
people that play the game too. They talking about they don't have perimeter defense. I don't know if these guys can do that.
Whoever said Avery Bradley can't defend, nobody in their right mind has ever said that. Everybody knows Danny Green is the best or one of the best 3-and-D guys in the league. Everybody knows Rondo's bring defense. Everybody knows KCP's a 3-and-D guy. So whatever mysterious people said that, I don't care for it because their opinion obviously doesn't make sense. Now it's my turn talking about these things. So what I want you to do is be quiet and shut up. Thank you very much. Now, Marc Gasol is not an upgrade. Dennis Schroeder, he's going to give you his buckets, and I think that's a good move. Dennis Schroeder is that guard that's going to give you consistent buckets without somebody like LeBron or AD giving you the ball. Now, Rondo created offense. He created offense for others. Can Dennis Schroeder do that? He's not going to be the same passer, but he's Freddie. I'm actually giving him a compliment, so don't talk at all. Yes, he's going to get his own. He's not the same passer as Rondo. The loss of Rondo was huge. Okay. Now I think it's huge because this is why I think it's going to be huge. Because what Rondo brought to this team was that Rondo could play point guard and get everybody involved, and LeBron can only worry about scoring. Now Dennis Schroeder showed he could score the ball, but he's not on that playmaker level of Rondo and LeBron. So that's where we're going to have to wait and see. But I do think Dennis Schroeder is still going to give you the same amount of buckets whether he starts. I think he's coming off the bench. I love KCP, so I think that was a good signing. But guys like you let Avery Bradley go. You lose in perimeter.
He didn't do nothing for us this year. He didn't go to the bubble. Let him walk.
Okay, shut up. I said I was talking. You making me mad. You let guys like Avery Bradley go, Rondo go. Those are two of your best perimeter defenders. You got KCP. You got Wesley Matthews. Avery Bradley is a better player than Wesley Matthews, but KCP still got him. That's great. I'm 50-50 on them. Some of the players that they re-signed, I like. Dennis Schroeder is the only guy that they signed that I'm full-fledged. He's going to have the best impact. Marchandis Harrell is going to give you the offensive numbers, but he's not you talking about rim defender. He's not the same defender as Dwight. He's not even on the same atmosphere. And if you don't listen to what people say, see, me and you are different, Freddie. I don't have to listen to what people say because I know the game and I can watch it and understand for myself.
Me neither. I don't either.
So, but everything you just said, but now you listen. Now you're going to say what you saw, but everything you just said before was what other people said.
I'm talking about what people are saying.
You're going on mute because what I saw was that Montrezl Harrell got cooked against the Mavericks. Coach Cam, am I wrong? No, Coach Cam, you watched that game. You watched that series more than anybody. Did he or did he not get cooked against the Mavericks? I'm talking about a guy that watched every single game and do against the Nuggets. You want to talk about what is Serge Ibaka going to do against Jokic? What did Montrezl Harrell do against Jokic?
He won't have to guard him. We got Anthony Davis, Chris. That's what you're not missing. We won't have to guard him.
Okay.
We will not guard him one time. Anthony Davis is going to anchor the defense.
But who is Montrezl? Then Montrezl Harrell's not going to guard Michael Porter Jr. You think that's going to happen?
Bench. He's coming off the bench.
What that mean though? He's going since he's such an upgrade, he's going to have to play good big minutes, right? What is he going to give him the defense win?
Let's stop acting like Marc Gasol just a piece of.
Did you watch him play last year?
Chris,
did you watch him play?
Listen.
Did you watch him play?
Listen. We talking about this year with the Lakers. Anthony Davis is going to inspire these cats to play defense.
Anthony Davis is going to inspire these guys. The Raptors were one of the best defensive teams last year with a great head coach.
That's the Raptors. We're talking about the Lakers. LeBron is going to get the best out of these guys. Don't you realize that LeBron get the best out of a lot of these older guys?
Can he make Marc Gasol faster?
Can he make Marc Gasol faster? Can he make him more in shape?
To be fast. You know why? Because guess what? But we already on the offensive team. He come up there, get ready to hit the.
How do you guard a pick and roll if you're not quick, Freddie? How do you guard a pick and roll if you can't?
You got Anthony Davis for that, Chris. Trust me. You have Frank.
I'm done. You won the conversation. I can't talk basketball with guys. I'm done. Freddie, you got it. I'm done. I'm done. You're talking to yourself. My headphones are off.
Teach them how to play defense. That is what they do. That is what they do.
People in the comment section, I really just want to apologize for Freddie's lack of knowledge of basketball. And that's all I have to say. I'm done talking about this topic.
Frank Vogel's going to put defense and make them a defensive team.
Yeah. You love your Lakers. We get it. All right. Yeah, we're gonna move on. We're gonna step on to another team. Let's talk about not even going to a team. Let's talk about guys who haven't signed yet. Let's talk about some people who are out there that have not yet to sign a contract. We see Hassan Whiteside up there. We see Anthony Davis. We see Brandon Ingram, who's a restricted free agent. For some reason, the Pelicans haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. Who are you most excited about to see where they're going to go? I'm going to go to Coach Cam because he hasn't gotten to say much recently, so we're going to move to him.
Really, I know Anthony Davis signing back with the Lakers. He's allowing them to, make moves and seeing, what type of, contract structure he wants. Just getting different feedback. Should I sign long term? Should I do like a 1-and-1 type deal? So I'm not worried about Anthony Davis. I'm anxious to see where Hassan Whiteside go, just because I know that the New Orleans will probably sign back Ingram. They better sign back Ingram, but the Pelicans is one of those franchises, that's really that's on the list. So I'm looking forward to this because Hassan Whiteside could be for a contender, really a game changer, especially on the defensive end of the floor, as far as rim protection and things like that. Because he's kind of a black hole on offense. If you dump it down to him, it's not kicking it back out. He's not passing that thing. It's going up. So that's the issue with Hassan Whiteside. But on the defensive end of the floor, he definitely can help a team. But you gotta get him engaged somehow. You gotta keep him engaged because he'll go lapses on you throughout the season where he's not there. He's not there with you, and you got to kind of reel him back in. So, but if you can keep Hassan Whiteside engaged, oh man, you got a solid player on your hand. You got a solid big man.
Chris, we'll move to you. What player that is still out there, still looking for a team, are you most excited about?
Now, Boogie was on my list earlier. He signed to Houston. I love it. Brandon Ingram, Coach Cam, pointed on it. He's still a free agent. The Pelicans need to re-sign him because he was by far the best player last year. He's still, even with Zion all the hype, he's the best player right now and can still be the best player in the future for them. So they'd be dumb not to offer him a contract. AD, we all fully expect him to sign back with the Lakers. Nobody knows anything in his life, so he can leave. But the expectation is that he's going to resign. Okay, Freddie, I'm not addressing you. Anyway, there's a guy that has not got a contract or extension offered to him, but when you look at other guys in his draft class, they've all been getting max deals. Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo, look at the draft class. Fox got a max deal. Tatum got a max deal. Mitchell got a max deal. Where's Bam Adebayo's deal? You know why he didn't get signed? Because they're waiting to see what happens with Giannis next year. Because if Giannis wants to leave, that's why they structured all the deals the way they did. And that's why they're not going to – the more I look at it, that's why I don't think they're going to sign Bam. Even though he deserves it, because you can't say he deserves it because he's probably the most important piece to this team outside of Jimmy Butler. And I don't think it's argued. You can't argue it. I don't think they're going to re-sign him until they figure out what happens with Jimmy Butler. They figure out what happened with Giannis. Now, I don't know how him and Giannis is going to work. I went to him to get the max extension he deserves because if they're going to choose Giannis over him, that's crazy because they can't play together. So what it's telling me is that I think they're choosing Giannis over Bam if Giannis decides to leave. So as long as he doesn't get a contract, that's my full belief.
Freddie, we'll move to you. What guy still looking for a team are you most looking forward to?
Man, I'm really interested in Brandon Ingram, man. You seen the money Darren Fox got. You seen the money Donovan Mitchell got. You seen the money Jason Tatum got. I just want to see what will the number be for Brandon Ingram? How much invested will the New Orleans Pelicans get with Brandon Ingram, money-wise? But, you have Whiteside as a free agent, but what team need a clipper? Needs a center? Clippers, hello, shot blocker. You need Whiteside as a free agent.
Sorry to interrupt you, Freddie, but we're talking about this Pelicans team. We're talking about them offering contracts, them offering extensions to somebody. Steven Adams just got a 2-year, $35 million extension with the New Orleans Pelicans.
What can go wrong
will
go wrong. You don't sign Steven Adams to that.
You want to talk about it now? We're going to say this.
Let Freddie go, but
we're going to say this for Tuesday. But just want to break that to you, Steven Adams, 2 years, $35 million. We're going to save that for tomorrow. It will be discussed because I don't think anybody likes that contract. So Freddie, just save it for tomorrow. Save it for tomorrow.
Oh man, can I ask you a question about that though? Because I really don't know how that works. I have a question. You got Brandon Ingram as a free agent. You just I
Uh-huh.
don't know how much money the Pelicans have, by the way.
Uh-huh.
You just gave Steven Adams a 2-year extension.
Yeah.
2-year extension. Does that take some money away from Brandon Ingram, or because he got on his bird rights, or
I don't know.
You can go into the
Luxury.
luxury tax when you have basically they have bird rights to Brandon Ingram, so
Mhm.
they can sign him back, and go past the salary cap and go into the luxury tax. So it doesn't affect their contract negotiations with Brandon Ingram.
man?
Yeah, but I just don't understand why you pay somebody before Brandon Ingram. Like, it's just wow.
That's the Pelicans for you.
Should Brandon Ingram out of New Orleans now? I mean, obviously the dude's not becoming a priority. Obviously,
I wouldn't say he's not coming a priority. I would just say they probably I give them the benefit of the doubt, and just like a lot of teams, they're probably talking numbers. I give them the benefit of the doubt. It could be just talking numbers.
Could be a matter of time. I know a lot of teams are losing revenue and everything such as that with COVID and everything going on. So it could be a matter of time. I mean, I keep hearing Supermax for Brandon Ingram. I keep seeing numbers and stuff like that being thrown around. But as of right now, just because of the expectation of seeing Brandon Ingram going back to the Pelicans, I mean, what can go wrong? But we'll see exactly what happens. Whenever it comes to a pure free agent, I'm going to go with Hassan Whiteside. Like Coach Cam said, I think this guy's going to be a huge addition to the team. I think this guy's going to be a difference maker whenever it comes to a defensive side. I mean, you know exactly what you're getting whenever you have Hassan Whiteside, and I know a lot of teams are out there looking for a big man to defend, and I think it's going to become a big piece for somebody moving down the stretch. But we're going to wrap it up here as typical fashion on ASAP Real Talk. We're going to do a 1 through 3 ranking of 3 players that we have conjured up. And this is the big 3 that we have conjured up today. These 3 Hall of Fame point guards, if I'm not mistaken, Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, and Allen Iverson. We're going to hit up these 3. I'm going to start with Chris. I want you to rank these 3 1 through 3.
Oh, man. I will say I hope everybody lists the same. It should be the same. It shouldn't be a debate, but let's get right into it. Number 3, I have Steve Nash. Steve Nash is a great point guard. I mean, you put him in today's system, he fit perfect. But, when I rank these 3, I'm ranking them on who do I want on my team. Steve Nash, if I'm picking the team, he's going to be the 3rd guy picked. He had a very good career. Not going to say he's overrated, but should he won both those MVPs? That's a question that's asked. He never took a team to a finals. I mean, Steve Nash had a great career. Don't get me wrong. No, 2 MVPs, lots of All-Stars, one of the best passers. I mean, 5-time assist champ, 8-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA. One of the best shooters in the game, over 40% from his career from the 3-point line. Like, Steve Nash is a great guy. He's just number 3. Number 2, I have Jason Kidd. I'm a very, very high guy on Jason Kidd. I think Jason Kidd, to me, is one of the best point guards in the game. The way he was able to change his entire career, coming to the game, not being, the best shooter, then, towards his career, shooting high 40%, especially that time with Dallas. I think people don't talk about that enough. Double-double guy, really a triple-double guy. Really one of the best passers to ever play in the game. Hall of Famer, 10-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, 9-time All-Defense. Steve Nash was a good offensive player, but he didn't play no defense. Jason Kidd was a two-way player, two-way star. Number 1, you might not see the picture, but it's over there. I got another pictures I'm going to hang up later. I got his jersey right next to me. Number 1 is Allen Iverson. I mean, point blank, period. Philadelphia 76ers guy. You think I'm going to put anybody ahead of Allen Iverson? You must not know me. Hall of Famer, 4-time scoring champ, standing there at 6 foot by probably played. They say 160. I'm giving him 150. 4-time scoring champ, 3-time steals champ, MVP, took a lackluster team to the finals, averaged 26-6 for his career, but in his prime, he was giving you 30. Even when he went to Denver, he was giving you 26-8. This dude is a bucket. This dude is a beast. We talking about short players, small players in the league. You define it by him. He's all heart. I love AI. He's number 1, and I don't think it should be a debate.
Freddie, you seem to have quite the reaction, especially when he put Jason Kidd at number 2. You seem kind of excited. Are you the same list as Chris? Let's hear it.
Chris said we all share the same list, and I 100% agree. One thing about AI, Chris, I think he said that Kobe told him or something that, like, man, if AI was like 6,
he was 6'6", the dude would have been he's already one of the best players ever. But if this dude was 6'6", he destroyed the league.
Like,
Destroyed it.
hey, let's not forget, he his team, him and his team was the only team to beat the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq that year. So I mean, that takes a lot of will. I mean, because one dude that was just giving his all, man. I mean, you talking about a dude. To me, there's not too many players that have the heart of Allen Iverson. That dude is at heart, man. Jason Kidd, like Chris said, I mean, he learned how to shoot later on in his career, but the dude was still phenomenal. What he brought to Dallas was a big thing. That's the reason why Dallas won that only championship with Dirk Nowitzki and Steve Nash, man. I mean, I remember him with Phoenix Suns going against my Lakers. It was a battle. And no, he should not have won that MVP over Kobe. I just thought that was flat out disrespectful. But hey, Coach Cam, you agree with me?
Heck no. I already know what his list about to be.
Hell no, I don't agree with y'all.
I already know what his list. I already knew Coach Cam.
Y'all thought I was gonna roll like that? Oh no!
I already knew what his list was going to be.
Absolutely not. Number 3, Steve Nash. He back-to-back MVP. It is what it is. But to me, he was highly overrated. I remember him in Dallas. He was good in Dallas. However, I playing with D'Antoni really enhances his numbers, like it enhances all the guards' numbers that he coaches. Heck, he had Jeremy Lin looking good for a second.
That's a fact, not an opinion, everybody out there. That is a fact.
I'm just saying he had Jeremy Lin looking like, whoa, he could be the next little decent point guard for a second. We didn't know what we was getting from Jeremy Lin for a second. He was putting up 30 points, 10 assists, now having 30-10 nights in D'Antoni's system. So that's why I don't, give Steve Nash, he's 3 on the list. Great point guard, but he's 3 on the list. Mm-hmm. Number 2, Allen Iverson. Yes, I got him at 2. And here's why. Okay. Allen Iverson, great player. What he did for, and a lot of people, I think we put AI higher than what we should because he kind of reminds people of, the everyday guy, small guy, short guy, not big, but inspired a lot of smaller players, to keep playing the game of basketball and try to get as far as you can with it. And also the way he brought the urban swag.
Cultural icon. Nobody can ever compare to him.
And that puts him, I think, higher than kind of like where necessarily what he needs to be because of the cultural icon and the cultural fashion that he brought to the game. He's great. He did lead a lackluster Sixers team to the finals that just had a defensive player of the year as far as Dikembe Mutombo. But I look at, some of the other shortcomings. I look at, with them in Denver, where he played with Kenyon Martin. No, 2. He played. He came in 07.
Right, 2 year. He traded 1 full year. Though is what I'm saying.
1 full year. They got swept in the first round. That's no excuse for that. Especially when you have Carmelo Anthony, you have Kenyon Martin, you had Allen Iverson, you had Marcus Camby. You don't get swept in the first round. I'm sorry. Number 1 for me is Jason Frederick Kidd, and this is why.
I'm not surprised though. I don't know why Freddie's surprised. I knew right in this list, Coach Cam was gonna have Jason Kidd.
Most definitely I'm gonna have him 1.
I'm surprised. I'm not gonna lie.
Listen to me.
You don't know Coach Cam did, man.
Coach, you gotta think. There's no point guard that's made a difference on win-loss record in his prime than Jason Kidd. You had a New Jersey Nets team that won 26 games with Stephon Marbury there. They made a 1-on-1 swap. Kidd for Marbury, nothing else included. They win 56 games and make it to the finals back-to-back years. That's a 30-win difference with just one player making the change. That is making an impact right there. And there's no team, name the last team that had a point guard-led team make it to the finals. Name it. Since Kidd. Name it.
You're gonna have to go. You're gonna have to really think, and
maybe you want to say Chauncey Billups.
That's what was coming to my mind.
You want to go there, but they had a whole cast. That was like a big. I'm talking about the main piece. Like if you snatch Kidd off that team, they're nothing.
It's really the last one. It's really Kidd.
And that's how I feel. I'm like, you don't know how hard it is for a point guard to lead their team to the final.
Because I'm not going to say the Warriors.
So, and he led them back-to-back years. He's had playoff series where he's averaged a triple-double.
Yeah.
Not even playoff series, total playoff period where he's averaged a triple-double. The impact is unreal. I understand he doesn't always put the ball in the basket, but he makes everyone better. No matter what team he's on, their field goal percentage goes up. Vince Carter said he made life so much easy. He resurrected my career the second time after injuries because he made it so easy for me. And that's what he does, make it easy for everybody. That's why he's number one for me.
I knew he was going to be number one for you, and I knew you'd actually give a good reason why. That's why you don't see no rebuttal coming from me. You know what I'm saying? Because you, unlike some people, give good reasons for your answers.
I'm actually happy that you said that, Coach Cam, because I had the same list. I was also going with Jason Kidd at number one over Allen Iverson, mainly because I actually found out about the geez, that's my dad. But yeah, so I do want to say that I had no idea about the Kidd trade before looking into it. I did not know that the Nets were the bottom of the barrel and then became a 30-win improvement. And after I saw that, I had to give it to him. I had to, because like Coach Cam said, what kind of point guard changes a team that much? And I mean, from a 30-win improvement, that is absolutely astounding, especially in a one-off. It's not like you got other pieces involved. It's not like, some guy came in through the draft and made a big difference as well. This is a one-man show that came in and really changed the face of the Nets. And just because of that, don't get me wrong, Allen Iverson, he brought in a faith of a group of people that have never seen the NBA before.
That's him right there.
When you talk about, you do have to talk about a cultural icon whenever he comes into the game.
Absolutely.
He's got that dog mentality that a lot of people have not seen in quite some time. But man, when I tell you, just whenever it came down to sheer difference making, whenever it came down to the seeing what people were saying about other people playing with him, Jason Kidd has nothing but praise and nothing but good words said about him, and the win-loss record for the Nets really showed it whenever he joined the team. But I'm not going to beat the dead horse on everything else. So that'll bring it to the end of ASAP Real Talk for Monday's episode.
Listen, if he just said something that made no sense, I would argue with it. But this one is opinion based. But if you have an opinion, my thing is make sure you have real facts, stats, and evidence behind it. One thing Coach Cam always do when we had his list, everything he says makes sense. I'm a high Jason Kidd guy, one of my favorite players in the league forever. So I think if you ask me who I take, I'm taking AI. But the fact that he took a team from nowhere to finals, you never argue that. The fact that he helped this Mavericks team win a championship, you can't argue that. You can't argue the championship factor. AI is always going to be my guy. I'm not taking. It's hard. I won't put nobody over AI. AI is my guy. I've met AI a couple of times when I was a season ticket holder. I went to the game where he left and came back to Philly. I went to the game where he finally came back to Philly. I went to his jersey retirement. I love AI. AI is my number one. He's Coach Cam's number two. I'm cool with it.
Hey, at least there's respect, Coach. I can tell you, Chris does not make these lists with the intention of all four of us agreeing.
No.
In Tuesday's list, I promise you, everybody's list is going to be different.
There's a reason why.
Interesting.
There's a reason why. So, but that'll bring us to the end of Monday's episode for ASAP Real Talk. Of course, we're going to be right back again tomorrow with more ASAP Real Talk at 9:30. What was it? Eastern time, 8:30 Central. The typical time for us. We got off to a little bit of a late jump today, but we'll be right back on normal time tomorrow. And until next time, we'll catch you on the next one. Y'all take it easy.
I do have one thing, hey, if you like to see me and Chris go at it, hey.
Yes, it is coming very, very soon. Everybody in the comments, I won't brag on what's going on. Everybody realizes how delusional Freddie is. That's cool. But we're going to really break down what's going to happen on these live debate shows. We're going to break it down on Tuesday before the start of the show. You don't want to miss this one because, I can guarantee it. It's going to get crazy. And I'm not going to be overly heated. I'm not going to say anything outside of that. because I already slander Freddie name enough. I ain't gonna do it tonight at the end of the show. I'll do it tomorrow.
Hey, but it's all love though. It's all love.
It ain't all love from me. End this out, Will.
But yeah, I know we have that debate coming up next week, and we got a couple other ones coming up on the ASAP network as well. You could see Coach Cam, actually all four of us, or at one point we'll have an episode in which you will see one of us going up against somebody else from the ASAP network. But I tell you what, if you like the boys on the Real Talk, feel free to jump into those and come support us over there. But until next time, we'll catch you on tomorrow's show. Take it easy.
Peace.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.